Hello, welcome to everyone who is joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing here today, huh? How's it going? Welcome back, everyone. I'm your new host for the next just over 2.5 hours. So we can either continue the conversation that was just being had, or we can talk about something else. I'm open to whatever. Hello there, hello, hi there, hi, hello, hi. If we can get everybody tapping on the screen, that'd be fantastic. I do want to bring some people up here, but I do want to hit a goal of how many likes and how many shares we're going to have. So if everybody can hold your finger, see my finger right here? Push your finger down right on my finger right here. It's going to pop up a screen. And then you can go send to all your friends. Or even just pick the ones that have the green dot next to them, because then you know they're awake right now. And you can bring those over. So, yeah. If Christians are true, who is going to stone me for wearing mixed threads? I don't know. Cool? I don't know. Hello, welcome everyone. If we could get the shares going, let's get some shares going here, guys. So hold your finger down on put your finger down on my finger right here, and then there's a screen that's gonna pop up, and then go send to all your friends. It's gonna get the live shared out to everyone. I'm gonna send it out myself right now, get a bunch of them going, and then we're gonna get some likes going. So once I'm saying, let's try and hit 5K. Let's hit 5K. I know we can do it. There's 11 of you in here right now. You can do some power tapping. Make sure, obviously, do some sends first. So get some people in here. I'm gonna send out a bunch of invites right now. Welcome. I know it's super early in the morning. I know. I haven't been to bed yet. Yeah, that's because I'm a night owl. Blame my ADHD. You can blame it on the ADHD. So yeah, let's get that going. We're almost at 2K. We're almost at 2K likes, guys. I gotta get my little tapper thing up here. Got a tapper. Let's get that one going. Welcome to Beaver Politics. Fun times, fun times. How do you treat women as property? If only I was there for the entire conversation, then I could have told you that. Hello, my friend. I see you there, Top Heavy. Hello. I am telling you what to do. I'm a mistress part-time, don't forget. I knew it was really appropriate for me to wear the shirt that I'm wearing right now, by the way. It's very appropriate. Oh, I forgot to request myself up before I, hang on, I'm bringing up my box first. I'm bringing up my account first. Actually, I'm gonna wait. Let's hit, minimum 3K. Minimum 3K, and then I'll bring up my account first. Whoa. I don't like that. I don't like this. This is my setup that I had last time. I don't like it. We're going back to this. Boom. So much nicer. I like this way better. 3K. Cool. I do know that. Oh, I got a couple people in here. All right, Frontline can come up. And then Jeremy, you were asking next.
Are you using Live Studio right now?
No, this is just a different
How do you get
thing.
So you need to teach me how to do that.
I don't know who I invited up. Okay, so just before everybody starts going off, I am gonna ask for ages and provinces from everybody, just so I know where everybody kind of sits. If you can mute when you're not actively speaking, that would be fantastic. That's where I run my panel, so we don't have any background noise that's going off, and so you don't have the urge to interrupt anybody when they're speaking. So, yeah. So if I can get David and Lilith and Jeremy to mute right now, that would be fantastic. And then I'm just going to do a couple of housekeeping things. Yeah. So this is like this one. It's There's like a person split, and there's a scene behind them. That's what it looks like. Is This is what this one looks like. It's in the handout that I sent, that I put, not the handout, but the live checklist. I have both of the icons in there.
Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, no worries. So welcome to Beaver Politics, guys. This is part four of our more than 24-hour live. We started at 6 p.m. Mountain Time yesterday, and we're going until 11 p.m. Mountain Time today, because we are doing Ontario election. So we can talk about the Ontario election if you want. We can talk about anything else. I'm open to it. We even were talking about religion. Funny thing is religion is not my strong suit. I actually despise talking about religion, but we can do that. We can do that. I've been hanging out in some religious lives lately, so I got a couple of things I can say. But couple of things before we start. All of these videos will be posted on YouTube I'm going to say within 48 hours, because this is a lot for me to try and get downloaded and posted up there, because I do that all. So yeah, YouTube, we're going to be posting all of this stuff on here. We do have our Discord if you want to join our Discord. I do vet people before they come in there as well. So David, you can hang on and just chill, okay? We do have our Discord, so you can request. It is in the link tree in our bio. And if you have any issues with that, then you can just message my account, which is the very bottom one down there, and I can help you out with that. We also do have our gift goal up at the top, which is the rosas. I have the rosas as our gift goal. And we have our subs right now. The best way right now for us, for any support that you can give us, is going to be our subs and our gifts. It really does help us to do the things that we're doing. A lot of this is emotional and mental energy as well. When we're providing these platforms, we take a lot of time out of our own lives to do all of this. So make sure you hit your daily heart me as well. Let's keep the live tapping. So if we're not talking actively, let's have some tapping is clapping. It's free. It's the easiest way to support us. Get some shares sent out to people. I'd like us to hit like 100 shares. So if you, like I said before, my finger's right here. Hold your finger down on my finger right here, and a screen's gonna pop up. I don't care if the people are awake or not. It just helps drive the engagement, and you can send it out to all your friends. I don't care who comes in here or whatever. But the shares and the likes are gonna help drive the engagement of it. So if I could see some shares happening, then that would be fantastic. Thank you, Tulips, for doing that. I appreciate the share there. All right. I think that is all I had for announcements. Discord, YouTube, pretty much. All right. If I can start from the Frontline, I don't need yours because you're already on here. Jeremy, can I grab age and province, please?
34, Nova Scotia.
Jeremy, 34, Nova Scotia. Perfect. And is it Eddie? Eddie. Age and province, please.
39 in British Columbia.
Nice. You're my neighbor. David, age and province, please.
21, Ontario.
David, we've spoken before, haven't we? Like, besides just now.
No.
Really? Okay, your voice sounds super familiar. Okay, and Lilith, age and province, please.
34 BC.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'm in Alberta. And Frontline, I don't know if you want to say that where you are. Just so people know, have a demographic of where you are.
BC.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. So we can pick up where we were on the last one if you really want to. I know David has his inquiring mind is wanting to know so bad what he does to harm women. So let's find out. David, what did David say that is so bad? What? Somebody start. I came in the middle of the conversation.
I just want to know how I view women as property.
Your Bible does.
I don't even know who said that, David, but you victim blamed. That was the problem.
You just said in the comments here, if you scroll up, let's just see. We can all tell you do.
But the other thing, like David, you actually the problem is okay. So if you were with somebody and they got pregnant, okay, so you'd already talked to them about like um you talked to them prior about having children and they were okay with it. Maybe they were just doing that to say yes to you, that they were okay with it just to like, you know, placate you. Who knows, right? So later on, all of a sudden you get pregnant, but it's not a time in your life that you didn't want to, it's not a time in your life that you were ready to have kids. Would you expect her to have that child even if she didn't want to have it?
If she already told me like she did want kids and then randomly she just said she doesn't want kids.
It's not random. It's not right time for you. You can't afford it. Not a good time in your life. You really shouldn't be bringing a kid into your world right now because it's just not a good time and place.
Again, like my point before, because there was no grape or harm to
So it's the
my
only
girlfriend, I'd have to have it. Yes.
That's the only you would force
So you
her.
think
One
you own
second, Lilith,
women?
please. 1 second. Okay. So I'll explain how I run my panel. I like it when people put their hands up. And you can do it in the comments or you can do it on video, however you want to do it. But I really don't do the whole like over talking thing and stuff like that. I like doing it one at a time. Everybody gets a chance to talk. So I'm gonna finish asking him a question and then I will let Lilith go and then I will let Eddie go because Eddie put his hand up in the comments. I should have said that in the beginning, but that's the way I run things because I host the debates here on Friday nights, so I kind of have like a little thing that I do. Okay, so David, those are the only exceptions that you have.
Grape life, if it's gonna affect the mother's life, and incest.
So you did add that one in now. Okay. Okay, so my thing was going to be you're gonna make her put her body through and potentially like be put through hell and potentially have the risk of unaliving just because you agreed in the beginning and she decided she doesn't want to because it's not the right time.
So here's the thing: I wouldn't force. I would talk to her, but me and my girlfriend have already had this conversation. My
Okay, I'm
girlfriend
not talking.
shares the
This is a
same views as
hypothetical.
me.
This is a hypothetical. I'm not talking about your real girlfriend right now. This is a hypothetical situation. So, what would you be doing in that?
I would be, if hypothetically, I'd be telling my girlfriend, like, it's like we like this. Like, unfortunately, I know you might want to do this, but like, it's just wrong. We have to have the kid because
So, you would
like,
shame her?
how am I shaming her?
That is literally shaming her. You are shaming her and you are coercing her to have a baby. You're coercing her to still carry that child to term.
I'm not coercing her. I'm just trying to like give my opinion.
It's wrong. Yeah, but again, in that instance, I'm going to
See
tell
the
you right now,
what?
your
See how
opinion
you
does
said
no stop. Your opinion does not matter in that instance. It does not matter because it is her body. She gets to decide what she's going to put it through. 100% of pregnancies have the risk of death.
you
Lilith,
know
you
how
can
you
come back
said
up if you want.
you know how you said it's her body. Like uh, that technically, that's both of our kid though. It has both of our genes. It might be
Doesn't
her
matter.
body. She might be the
Then
one
you need to be
carrying
more
it.
responsible about where you leave your seed.
I am personally me, but you were saying hypothetically.
Yeah, I'm saying in that instance, you need to be more responsible about where you deposit your seed. Because if you don't want somebody else having responsibility of not carrying that to term, then like because it's her body. She has every right to terminate a process and not give consent to a process happening anymore at any point in time because consent to intercourse is not consent to
Again,
pregnancy.
it's all opinion. Um,
It's
I
not.
might not agree with your opinion, but I'm not going to be the one to say your opinion is wrong and it sucks. That's going to be you, the one to tell me that. But sure, that's your opinion and I have mine.
Nope.
Hypothetically,
That's
doesn't
what
make
I said.
sense for me because it would never happen for me.
Okay. All right, Eddie, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I have a question for David.
Oh,
So, um,
can you?
David.
I think you're covering up your mic, Eddie.
Oh, am I? Can you
Yeah,
hear me
you
now,
sound either
or
really far away or like
is
muffled.
it is it still muffled?
Do you have Bluetooth on or headsets?
No, no. How about now?
It's a little bit clearer, yeah.
Okay, I'll just bring my phone closer to my face.
Yeah. And David, can you
Um,
please mute when you're not actively speaking? I did request that at the beginning and you have not been doing that. So if you could do that, that'd be great. Thank you.
but yeah, it seems I could be wrong, but it seems to me that you care more about a clump of cells and the child than the well being and mental state of your partner and your partner's the chance that like that they could die. And like pregnancy's horrible. I've heard like horrific stories from women about their pregnancy. And like, first of all, ultimately it's their body, not really your choice. Not really. And yeah, so why do you put a clump of cells before an actual human being? And now I'm going to
Before
land
you,
my plane.
yeah, yeah, no worries. Before you answer that, David, I would like to say, guys, like this is a debate style platform. If you're not comfortable, you are more than willing to leave. Like you're totally allowed to leave. I'm just gonna mute you, Eddie, because you got some noise going on. But you are totally allowed to leave. This is not a place where I'm just gonna drop people because they have terrible views. If we don't talk to the people who have crappy views, we don't know how to combat those views. So sometimes we have to sit in uncomfortableness in order to get to results, right? We have to figure out how to get past those things in order to get to results. So we have to talk to people like David with really crappy ideas in order to actually get things done. So that's what we're doing in here. That's how I do this. I don't have an echo chamber in here. We have to be able to speak to these people in order to know what's going on in their head and be able to overcome what they're doing. So I do want to emphasize that. So you are totally 100% responsible for your own comfortability. If you're not comfortable in here, by all means, you're like, move on, go somewhere else, or come back when the topic changes. But we go through a plethora of topics whenever we're talking in here. I kind of go with the flow on it. But I am gonna I won't let misinformation happen, but I will let people have their say in certain things. And I do run a pretty organized panel, where I literally keep a notebook of who is speaking next. So if you do want to speak, then like I said, put your hand up in the comments, and if you want to come up and chat, then request away. Frontline, did you want to add anything?
Oh, I was just answering a bunch of stuff in the comments here. Somebody just said David's ideas are the most logical, and I was going to write back, religion is not logical.
Yeah.
Like by definition, it's not logical. It
Yeah.
logic relies on evidence and reasoning and consistency, and religion by
He
definition is
was
based on
talking about
faith.
abortion.
David, do you not remember what I said about staying muted and not over talking?
But we also talked earlier that your views on AB come from your religion, right?
Can I respond?
Sure.
Yeah, she
I'll
asked you a
mute myself.
question and she paused.
Yes and no. I've already said my own personal views just for my own personal ideology.
But what influences your own personal ideology?
Logic.
Okay. How is AB being, how are your views on AB your own personal ideology? How are they logical to you? What is logic about that? So logic, as I said, relies on evidence, right? Reasoning and consistency. So what is the evidence that you can use? What are some actual hard statistic facts coming from medical science that you can use to back up your claims?
Okay, so I searched up before the percentage of ABs that are from incest or grape,
That was
and
not the question that you were asked.
I'm getting to the point. She asked,
No, if you can
what's my
answer the question that you were asked, because you're going back to something that we were talking about on the other live, if you can answer the question that was asked to you, please.
She said, what's my logic to AB?
Yeah, but you didn't get it just now by Googling something. Prior to that, you
No,
had
not
logic for AB.
just now. I'm saying prior. I did my research.
Okay.
Do you want me to answer my logic and ideology differently?
No.
I'm sorry, what?
Would you like me to answer the question differently, maybe, or no?
Well, I want you to answer the question that was posed to you, because that we weren't answering the question that was posed to you. You were answering a question that you asked a while ago.
The question she asked was, what statistics?
No.
She said, what statistics define your logic to AB?
No.
What was the question? What was
Frontline,
the
you
question,
didn't say anything
Frontline?
about statistics, did you?
I said medical science evidence, right? Which could be a statistic, technically.
Okay. So
I think she wants specifics as to what made you come to the conclusion of your beliefs on AB.
Again, research. I'm going to explain that now. That's what I was getting to.
Okay.
And just my own, just my opinion, what I believe.
Yeah, but you can't just have an opinion about something if you haven't actually looked into it. You can't just have an opinion that falls out of nowhere.
Okay, so, well, I was getting to that.
And just my opinion. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
so
but I was getting to the research part, and then you cut me off.
What was the research that you did? Because you just said research and blah blah blah. Tell me the research.
The research that I did, maybe it's wrong. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong website. The research that I did concluded that a small amount of ABs are due to grape or incest. Majority of ABs, or more than usual, or majority of the amount, are for financial and practical reasons, which I don't agree with.
Where did you find this information? What's your source?
Province of Alberta Medical Health or something. I don't know. Something like that.
What did you Google?
I just Googled statistics for ABs due to incest/grape. Again, I did say maybe it could be wrong.
Did you add Alberta in there? Because the first things that come up are American sites.
Yeah, USA Today was the first one that popped up, so then I put in Canada, sorry.
Actually,
put
the
in
National
Canada.
Institute of Health comes up first. But
put in Canada, yeah, USA Today popped up too, but that's the United States, it's different.
Why would you be looking up in Alberta if you're in Ontario?
I don't know, it was just the first thing that popped up. It was talking about Canada as a whole.
Were you looking at a site that's called Pro-Life Alberta?
Might have been, I'm not sure. I don't really remember the site.
Or loveforlife.ca. Those are both biased sources that tell the exact statistics that you just gave me.
Are they wrong? I don't know.
They're biased sources. .coms are not proper sources. You want to have a .edu or a .gov that you're looking at.
Why is it a biased source?
Because anybody can make a website and put their opinion on it. It's not factually true. That's not actual stats. They can make up whatever stats they want and put it on here, or it could be out-of-date stats that are on there. You would want to look at primary sources.
If there's multiple websites that say the same thing.
Doesn't matter. They're literally websites that have a bias. They're going to skew the numbers so that it makes it look like what you want to believe. It's confirmation bias is what you were looking up.
For me, I just typed in what I told you and looked at a few links, and they all led to the same conclusion.
Right, and you went to the ones that confirmed your bias.
I've
You went to
never.
the ones that confirmed your bias.
Can you give me a site to go on then?
I'll look something up unless Frontline has anything already.
Frontline, would you have something for me to look at?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily looking at those statistics because I still don't see how they necessarily partake into your logical reasoning
Yeah, true.
in
That's I
terms
should get to that point. Anyways, my logical reasoning is just that. My own reasoning is just if a woman, again, if it were to affect my girlfriend, if my girlfriend were to be 20 weeks pregnant, and the doctor's saying that the continuation of this pregnancy has serious effects on her health and potentially life, or if a girl was raped, or if it's incest, then yeah, then in that case, those are bad things, rape especially. So those things I actually agree with. But when the main reason is financial and practical reasons, it's like that's why there's birth control, condoms, things like that. And then the point I was getting to was I feel like a lot of times when people argue abortion, right away the first claim is, yeah, but what about girls who are raped, or all that stuff, when it's a very low percentage.
Right. Because people are trying to test your logical consistency. That's why they're trying to test your consistency in what you're saying. But I would like to say, you said something just before you said that. What was the thing that you said just before you said that?
Oh, like if my girlfriend was like,
Oh, financial reasons. Do you really think that it is smart to bring a child into the world when you can't afford it? Like, that's how people end up in worse poverty. Like, it's expensive to have kids. Super
that,
expensive to have
that's
kids.
actually a true
And if you're
point.
not
That I
financially
can't.
ready to have them, I'm sorry, you can't keep talking while I'm speaking because you can't listen while your mouth is going.
Sorry.
Okay, so mute when other people are speaking. This is your last warning, or I will boot you off the live if you do it again. So, when guys, contraceptives fail all the time. Contraceptives fail all the time, and that's the reason why 56% of people who are in relationships actually have ABs, because they had failed contraceptive. And because they don't need it, they don't want any more kids, or they can't have kids. That's the thing. It like literally you're talking about the things that people already do. They use contraceptives and they fail every single time. Not every single time. They fail 56% of the time. But it's like you can say that all the time, but again, it takes sperm in order to make the pregnancy even happen in the first place. A woman cannot consent to a natural bodily function. Her eggs are released all the time, and she can't consent to that happening. But a guy can consent to where he leaves his sperm all the time. Frontline wanted to speak.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, David, do you know what the foundation of individual rights is? Do you know what the bodily autonomy part of the foundation of individual rights?
Can I respond?
Yep.
She paused, yes.
No, I don't. Can you tell me?
It's the fundamental principle of ethics and law that no person is required to use their body to sustain another life against their will. Do you think that if somebody was going to unalive from, say, kidney failure or leukemia, should we force somebody to donate their organs or blood or bone marrow in order to save their life? Do you think that that is a good thing, or a rational or logical thing to do?
To force someone to donate blood to save their life?
So if somebody is in a situation where they are going to pass away if they don't get organ donation or a blood donation or a bone marrow donation, should someone else be forced against their own will to give it to that person that might pass away in order to sustain their life?
I know where you're going to go with this, but I don't see how the two I get where you're going with it, but like it's not really like the same thing. I get where you're gonna go with this, so I'll answer the
How is it
question
not the same
short.
thing?
Of course, the answer would be no, and I know where you're gonna go with this, so I'll let you go.
No, I asked you, how is it not the same thing?
Because go finish your point. What were you gonna go with? I'll answer the question. No, they shouldn't be forced.
Okay, so if they
That's the
shouldn't be
point.
forced to sustain another life, then why should women be forced to sustain another life when they're pregnant?
Because if it's not for any of the reasons that I listed before, that fetus is alive. It's responsible for that life as well.
What do you mean
It's,
that
no,
fetus is alive?
living is different
An
than
embryo,
alive.
embryo,
Pass
sorry,
away
embryo.
if they don't get a organ donation is alive.
Pardon?
And they're more of a human than a fetus is.
Well, I mean, what makes someone more of a human than another human?
A fetus is not a human.
Fetus is not a human.
I'm pretty sure an embryo at like 5 to 6 weeks gets.
No. Human tissue, human cells, not a human being. A human being is born.
Well, that's your definition of it, but when I searched up before, it says an embryo has a heartbeat at like 5 to 6 weeks. So,
Again, though,
again, maybe I'm on a bias.com website.
we're talking about sustaining another human life, okay? Why, as I just asked, why is it that we don't force people to give organ donations or blood donations? Why is that not forced, and yet it's somehow okay to force women to carry to term when it's still the exact same thing? It's sustaining a human life.
Can I say it one more time? I'm going to actually really try and focus. Say it one more time. Not like all the way from the beginning. Just say it quickly again. Run it through me quickly.
Is it
Say it one more
too
time.
late for you? Do you need to go to bed?
If we don't, hold on. If we don't force a person to donate a kidney, for example, then why should we force a woman to endure a pregnancy? If they are both for sustaining life, why in one case do we not force people to do that, but in another case you think it's okay to force people to do that? It's inconsistent.
So we're not forcing people to donate organs to other people.
It's a hypothetical.
Huh?
It's a hypothetical.
Yeah, no. I'm saying hypothetically speaking, we don't force people to donate organs or blood to other people who they don't know, because it's not their responsibility. But wouldn't you argue that, like that person's going to be a mother? It's their responsibility of that living embryo.
No.
Why?
Because there is no expectation of responsibility in there. You do not have to. You do not have to have that. You do not. I can't think of my words right now. But I'm gonna pause for one quick second because I told people I was gonna show them my shirt, because this totally goes. I don't know why, but I probably had like some kind of psychic thing that we were gonna be talking about this. But I understand you have words, Hatter. I have ways that I run my panel though too. So give me a second, please. Okay. Okay, so it's like I was psychic and I just knew that this conversation was going to come up. So this is my shirt that I have on. I know it's backwards, but it says against abortion, have a vasectomy. You are responsible for where you leave your sperm. You are responsible. Pregnancy cannot happen without the man. Without the male.
It needs both parties, but yes.
Whatever. The woman can't consent to her egg being released on a monthly basis.
But
the man can consent to where he ejaculates.
Sorry, can I have one more point to keep
Yeah,
that
and then I'm going to
conversation
introduce
going?
Axman, and then I'll bring up Hatter.
For sure. But like parents are not forced to give their bodies to save a child that's already alive. That is their child. They're not forced. I mean, of course, most of them would want to do it, but they're not forced by law to, for example, donate a kidney to their child. They're not forced by law. It is not a law that forces them to do that. That doesn't exist.
Of course, I agree with that. It's about morals.
Yes, but your belief is that women should not be allowed by law to have an AB outside of grape or the mother's life being in danger
And incest.
and incest.
I want to take this in a tiny bit of a different direction, and then I am going to add.
Yeah, I know. I
Hatter
agree. I think the abortion's too much.
No, we're still talking about abortion.
Oh.
AB. Okay,
Sorry,
so
I
what I
know.
was going to go with. No, David, mute. What I was going to go with is even if you look at like legalities and stuff like that, right? If you look at the Canadian Constitution, you look at our Charters of Rights and Freedom, okay? Our Charter of Rights and Freedom actually states that you only have rights if you were born or naturalized, the exact same as the United States Constitution, okay? Born or naturalized. So that fetus literally by our written word that our country goes by does not have any rights at all in this country. It has zero rights until it is actually born and until it is a born human being. Until then, it has zero rights. And the mother's rights come over that. It trumps all that completely.
Can I respond? Yes.
You can respond, and then we're going to Axemen.
Okay.
Because
What
they've been
you
waiting
said
very
is true.
patiently.
What you said is true. I have nothing to argue with that. My whole thing is just it's about morally. You know, like what you're doing. It's like if it's
Morally,
the
you
embryo's a
forcing a
living
woman
thing.
to completely destroy her body is wrong. Axeman, hello. Can I grab your age and province, please?
43, Alberta.
43, Alberta. Okay, cool. What would you like to add to the conversation?
Just, I mean, I agree with my body, my choice, and all that. Just putting an opinion out there, just kind of discussion point, is we've talked about the female not wanting to carry the baby to term. What about if the male doesn't want to carry the baby to term, and the female does, which is fine, but then he's financially responsible for that fetus
Sign
through
over his
life.
rights.
But she can force him to be financially responsible.
Not if he signs over his rights and he actually like totally abandons the child.
Okay. So I don't know. I didn't know that was an option.
He doesn't get to tell her that she can't have the child.
Okay. No, and that's fine. I mean, if that is, I just from my experience, I just find that people are have to pay child support and all that.
So,
and
in that case, I would also go back to the if he doesn't want to have kids, he has to control where he leaves his seed.
yeah, but I mean, even if you have a vasectomy, that's not even 100% because a vasectomy can repair itself, right? So if you think that you've done that, then you've used protection, all that, and there are accidents, there are things that fail and all that. So nothing's 100%, not even abstinence. Because look at Jesus, for example. So yeah. Anyway, that was just my opinion on that part of the topic.
I'm just looking at this, but she doesn't have to control her legs. You know that it can happen when your legs are closed, right? All right. Hello, Hatter.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Hello. I know it's the first time I've ever had you on one of my panels.
Yes.
Okay, so I just everybody just mutes in between when they're not speaking, just so we don't inadvertently like overspeak or there's no background noise or anything like that. And if I can just grab age and province, please.
A lady never reveals her age. 44, Quebec.
Okay. Yeah, you're good.
So I'm
I'm
not going to
older.
be too long. I'm not going to be too long, and I don't want to be offensive here to our friend David. But David, can I ask you one quick question before I go into some of the things I just wanted to touch on?
Sure.
Sure. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but are you a conservative and a Trump supporter, if I may ask?
I agree. Yes, I'm a conservative. I agree with all of Trump's policies, just
Okay.
not the ones that affect our country. Because at the end of the day, I'm Canada first.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you. So I'm gonna
Ooh.
just provide a couple of notes very quickly. The first thing I wanted to say, and before we begin, no, these aren't questions. These are just a couple of statements I wanted to come up and say. As from one man to another, David, I don't think you get to talk about morality when you support a sex offender. Point blank, period. Right? You don't get to pick and choose what's moral when you support a sex offender found liable of sexual misconduct in court.
Just to protect the live, let's maybe say like SMEX or
Okay,
something like
but you get what
that,
I'm saying. You
or
don't get to speak on morality. Number one. Number two, if you consider an embryo, I'm trying to find words so that the live doesn't get banned. If you consider an embryo a living being, then you should consider your sperm the same thing. These are cells, right? So technically, masturbation is murder. Point blank, period. Scientifically speaking, a fetus becomes a neonate or a newborn at birth. And if you want to touch on this from the Christian perspective, sir, it begins with the breath of life, right? There are many ways that a woman can become pregnant. It's not your body, it's not your choice, no uterus, no opinion. Point blank, period. That's all I had to say.
thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
You too, thank you.
Wait,
Yo,
are you leaving?
no, I'm here.
I was just going to say one point, then I want to let some other people speak. Keep in mind, I'm assuming, would you have voted for Kamala Harris?
Her name is Kamala.
But yes, I would have,
Kamala,
because
sorry.
I actually work with facts, and she's one of the most overqualified individuals that's ever run for the presidency. Right? The
Okay.
reason why you guys didn't is because you've been propagandized and radicalized, and you would never vote for a black woman. Based on the conversation alone, sir, it's very clear how you feel about women in general. So it is what it is, buddy. It is what it is.
How do you think I feel about women?
Based on your rhetoric of what a woman should and shouldn't be doing, it shows me that you're an egotistical. Lord, I'm gonna play nice because I've only had one coffee.
Don't worry, you're
You
not going to
think
offend me. Say
lower of
whatever you want.
women, and you think that you as a man get an opinion of what a woman should do with her body, tells me exactly what you think of women. It is what it is, my friend. It is what it is.
Yeah, you think of
Maybe
women as
if you
lesser
don't,
than
sir,
that she
if
has
you
to
don't,
she has to submit to you.
yeah, if you don't think like that about a woman, then you shouldn't have a say on what a woman does with her body. You should be supporting women, but you don't. You're also coming from a conservative Christian Trump supporting narrative, which tells you everything we need to know.
Keep in mind, my views are about morality. It's not about
But
looking
once
down
again,
towards
sir, how
women.
dare you speak on morality when you support a schmex offender?
Keep in mind about the
Tell
people who
anyone.
endorsed Kamala Harris and were friends with P.
Kamala.
Diddy. Kamala.
Kamala.
Oh my God, have
You
you
can't say her
Googled
first
how
name
many times
properly, just
Trump
say
has been
Harris.
to the schbitty parties? It's embarrassing, sir. Once again, you guys have been so radicalized by propaganda that you wouldn't know fact if it slapped you with a bag of dicks.
I don't think Trump has ever been to a Diddy party personally. I'd like to find a link
Why don't
Okay,
you?
let's get
Why
that
away
don't
shows
from
you
me
that.
that.
do you know that
But I
Google
could.
is free, right?
Pardon?
You know that Google is free, right?
What do I search up? Trump at a Diddy party?
Yeah. Just search Trump and Diddy.
Trump literally praised him on The Apprentice, like Celebrity Apprentice. It was one of either the Pussycat Dolls or it was somebody who was part of one of the girl groups, and he was asking her about it in like the boardroom meetings. There's a video of that, and she like went really quiet and just kind of like, and you could just tell. So,
And sir, while you're
but I
at
would
it,
also
sorry, I just wanted to
no
add one more thing before I jump out. While you're Googling the Diddy and Trump affiliation, why don't you Google all the charges, open court records available for Donald Trump and his sexual misconduct? It's that simple. Something like how many? 28 were brought against him?
It's 20. Yeah, he's got 28 allegations.
Yeah.
He was found liable for SA, which the definition afterwards was actually turned to mean grape. Because the judge said that because the definition was at the time just SA, they couldn't put it through as grape, but any kind of penetration would have been considered grape and now is considered grape.
Okay, so then why isn't Donald Trump in jail then?
Because it was a civil case, it was not a federal case. Like, it wasn't a criminal case because the statute of limitations ran out.
Why wasn't it a criminal case?
Because the
If
statute of
he's a convicted
limitations
felon.
ran out.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to drop. I just wanted to thank you for giving me a moment to talk. I hope you all have an
Thank you.
absolutely wonderful day.
Thanks, Hatter. The other thing I wanted to add in there too is not just like the essay towards E. Jean Carroll, but it was also towards, and Frontline, I'll get to you next. But also like the multitudes of like, Katie Johnson. Let's just say Katie Johnson, for example. He allegedly assaulted her and many others with Epstein. And then him going behind the scenes the beauty pageant that he ran, like the Miss Teen America, and he would go back there when the girls were half naked. Like, there's video of all of this stuff, but most of you guys choose not to actually look at it or watch it because it doesn't confirm your bias. That's why. So, Frontline, if we can bring it back to Canada, that'd be great.
Sorry, I put my hand up when we were talking about the whole Diddy thing, because I've even made videos about it. I've put so many pictures and so much evidence together that those two had a good time together. Okay? And yeah.
Oh, bye, Eddie. Okay.
But I mean, what we were talking about is obviously Trump is guilty. Like, he was found guilty by the jury. The only reason he's not in jail is, again, for statute of limitations. And I was going to say, maybe David doesn't know what that is, so maybe you might have to explain that to him. But that's all I wanted to say. However, we can totally bring it back to Canada. I would be very happy to do so.
Absolutely. So what I am going to say, hello to all the people who are coming in right now. Yes, it is the Ontario election today. It does not mean that we're solely talking about Ontario. We're talking about politics in general, because this is Beaver politics. And we talk about politics all around, mostly Canadian politics. We also do talk about social issues as well, but we also do talk about American issues, because American issues do affect us as well, especially since we have a fascist down in the States who's trying to take over our country. So that being said, we are going to bring it back to Canada. Maybe we could try and move away from the ABU topic, unless that's what Paul wanted to talk about. If you wanted to add in your 2 cents about that, Paul. If I can I muted you because I get everybody to mute when they're not actively speaking. But if you can tell me your age and province, please. You just need to unmute yourself though first.
I'm 57 and live in Ontario.
Okay. Have you voted already, or are you voting today?
I haven't voted yet, no.
Okay, you're voting today though?
Yeah, I guess today's the day, eh?
Yeah. Polls open at 9 o'clock your time. 9 to 9.
Huh.
Yeah.
I have a weird schedule, so I didn't realize what day it was.
Gotcha. Well, they have to legally give you 3 hours off if you're working within that time period. They have to legally give you 3 hours off in order to go and vote. So, yeah, make do at that time. Get her done. Yeah. Who if you don't mind me asking, or if you care to share, who are you planning on voting for? Like, what party are you voting for?
I have to go with the PC government.
Okay, why? Why is that?
I just feel that they haven't done a horrible job. I don't think Doug is that evil.
Can you tell me one policy that Doug Ford has that you really like?
Bringing jobs to Ontario.
How is he planning on doing that? That's not a policy.
Well, he works to get factories brought here, right? Like he was the one that helped bring all those battery plants here.
So I'm talking about a policy that that is like a policy that he plans to do that it's the reason why you would be voting for him.
I really haven't paid attention that closely, to be honest with you.
So then how do you know that's who you want to vote for? If you haven't been paying attention, like maybe you haven't been paying attention to the things that he hasn't done or the terrible things that he's done.
I just watched him over the last few years that he's been in power, and I don't think he's done a horrible job. I don't think Ontario is in that bad a shape, other than what the Liberals did to it.
What does that mean? What Liberals?
Trudeau.
How can a federal government affect your province? Like individually? What does the federal government sorry?
There's laws passed and things were brought upon us.
What laws? What laws specifically? I want specifics. We don't deal in generalizations, okay? So if you're going to be talking about things that you liked and didn't like about Trudeau, you're going to talk about the policies that were passed or the bills that were passed that that affected you and you didn't like.
I guess I generalize more than I don't have facts. I don't read the facts. I just go with what I see on TV. And
wouldn't you think that would be what news do you watch?
well, I don't even watch news, to tell you the truth. I just
where do you get your information on politics?
If I want to search something up, I'll go to Google.
Okay, well, Google's a search engine. That's not a source.
Yeah.
Google, stop. They say, keep it. Oh my God. It's not a source. So what kind of sources do you look like? Like, so when you're Googling, what do you Google? What's going on in the world today?
Well, once I've heard something that Trudeau's done, I look it up and read.
Where do you look it up? Like, I'm asking, like, what kind of sources? Where do you?
On a search engine.
Right, but then after that, you go and you look at, like, a source. So, like, what kind of sources? Like, do you just click the first link that's there? Or, like, when you're searching things up, too, like, what do you put in the search engine?
I can't remember all the things he's done.
Just in general, like what kind of wording would you use when you're putting it in the search engine? I'm trying to get somewhere with this.
I don't know what to tell you. What I wanted to really say was, other than grape, I think it's like if I bake a cake, I take all the ingredients and I put it in the pan, and it's all there, and I let it cook. And half an hour later, I take that pan and throw it across the kitchen floor. Is it still a cake?
A fetus is not a cake.
It's not a cake?
No.
So all the ingredients just disappeared?
I've never, ever. Frontline, I know you wanted to say something. Absorbo, and I'll get to you right away.
I'm sorry. I'm just what? I wanted to talk about, actual policy earlier when I put my hand up, but it doesn't seem like Paul would be able to keep up with any of that conversation, so I don't know if there's a point of bringing it up. I'm sorry. Can you please make sense of what you're talking about when you're talking about making some scrambled eggs? Like, I don't even get it, man.
Well, if I bake a cake, I have all the ingredients in front of me to bake a cake, and
Uh-huh.
I put it all together and I throw it in the oven. And half an hour later, I take the pan out of the oven and throw it across the kitchen floor. Is it still cake?
Yeah, it's cake on the floor.
So what's the difference with abortion?
I don't understand. I can't see the link.
Genetics, DNA.
There's literally no connection between those at all.
Well, you have all the ingredients of making a baby. You got the baby. All the cells are there.
But there's a difference. There's a difference in the cake, though, your cake thing, because a fetus, it's not a baby, it's a fetus. The fetus is relying on the other person's body and using resources from it. The cake is simply getting heat. That's it. And that can be done anywhere. It is not reliant simply on only the oven. And the oven doesn't suffer from having to give resources to the cake.
I think there's too many abortions that happen just because someone decides.
Can you please say AB? Can you please say AB?
That they just don't want the
Paul,
child.
Paul, when I ask you a question, can you please acknowledge it? Can you please say AB?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll get you to mute up, Paul, please. Hello, Absorb One. What would you like to add?
Good morning, lovely people.
Hello.
As we were saying, today is the election. I just wanted to give some information for it. If you did not get your voter's card, do not panic. Go to your local poll. You can find it out on elections.on.ca. Find out your poll. Go there with 2 pieces of identification, one with your name, one with your address. It doesn't need a photo. It can be your birth certificate. We don't care what you look like. We just want to prove you live in the neighborhood, okay? And vote, okay? If you have your elections card, bring 1 piece of identification and we will be more than happy to give you a ballot for you to vote. Please vote today. Doug Ford is only in power with the majority government because people did not go and vote last time.
Thanks. Are you working the election?
Paul, I am. So
nice.
As of 8 a.m., I can no longer be political. I will say that I did not know, but I gave my vote away by working the polls. But it's fine because I want you all to vote, and it's fine because I wanted to make sure voting was accessible on my reserve, and that elders didn't have to go into town and stuff. So I fought a bit to get a polling station right on my reserve, right? So, but it's worth it. It's totally worth losing my vote. A little sad though, because it's the first time in my lifetime I have not voted, but it's fine. It's okay. And Paul, go eat a cake.
No. Bye, Paul. Paul didn't like having to not be able to speak.
I fucked my coffee up.
Let's start the day again. Okay, so wait. Some people are asking this too. Like, how come you can't vote?
Because I'm the head of the poll, I can't confirm my own vote.
But couldn't you have voted early, like in advanced voting?
No one told me. I could have voted in advance. No one told me that I needed to vote in advance. Yes.
Damn.
So there has been a complaint made, and hopefully that will be changed. The person who works with me can vote. I can confirm their vote. Anyone else working at the poll, I can confirm their vote. I just can't confirm my own. Which is, sacrifice I'm going to make this year.
Wild.
This time. Right? But not again. So I'll know better, and I'll go to advance voting.
Barbie Bazzoni, I think it is. It's not connecting you, so if you want to request backup, that's totally fine.
Atomic knew.
Atomic?
She knew to vote in advance.
There you go.
I did
I'm
not know.
actually I actually want to work the federal election when it happens. So
Yeah, I might do that as well. Again, to make it accessible,
yeah,
right?
I really want to. So, um, and I do want to also say too, just while we're talking about election stuff and everything, if you are a Liberal Party member, for the federal Liberal Party,
Oh, yes.
voting did start yesterday for the leadership race, and you have until March 9th. You have to verify yourself first, and then you can vote. But that started yesterday. It's all online. We did the same thing in Alberta when we had the leadership race for Nenshi. So yeah. All right. Tall Tech
And
Lady. I
the
know I've had you on here before. I'm pretty sure. I think I've had you on here before. I remember. Um, if I can grab age and province, please.
Nova Scotia, and I am 48. Sorry, I had to think about that. My birthday was just last month, and I haven't said it very often.
Oh, I think I did say happy birthday to you last time, but I'll say happy birthday again. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. What did you? Oh gosh,
I
that's
just
really
want to.
loud background noise.
Sorry, I was just making lunch. And
Okay.
the microwave went off. Making lunch for my daughter. I wanted to say I'm sorry that she can't vote, and I was trying to say that that cake thing is ridiculous. Yeah.
Right? It made no sense. Like zero sense. So
I understand supposedly being moral about it. I am somebody that I've had 7 pregnancies and only have 3 children, and I had somebody living in my home that used abortion as birth control. So I understand where people get the, oh, I can't believe that. But again, it was her choice. I'm not upset with her. It was
yeah,
her choice. It would be something I
for
would
sure.
never understand,
I
do
just want to
myself.
correct one thing though, because you
Oh,
can't
AB.
technically use birth control as
Yes,
or you can't use AB as birth control because
yes,
contraceptives prevent birth or prevent
yes.
pregnancy.
But
So
she had
good
chose.
catcher.
Sorry about that. She had chose not to use contraceptives and then chose to
Yeah,
get AB because that was like her second or third one. And
yeah.
at the time I hadn't even had any kids. So it upset me in mentally, but it was still her body, her choice. I was not upset with her at all. It was my body. It was me physically being upset because I had been trying for 4 years at the time to have a baby. So
Mm. And I could see
eh,
that because like it's circumstances, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so I understand where people would get it morally, but again, I would never ever tell anybody that they should have a baby. I would tell them,
Mm-hmm.
I hope you would make this choice because of there's really good reasons for it, not just because like there's other ways to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I didn't like that part, but it was again her choice.
for sure.
And the part
Um.
about paying for for a guy to have my husband says that drives me nuts is that yeah, they don't get the choice. They had the choice when they decided to put that inside me or whoever.
Exactly.
That was
Exactly.
their choice.
They left their DNA somewhere, and that was their choice to leave it there. It didn't
And
just magically appear there.
if the person decides to keep the baby and they don't, as you said, I never really thought about that, but yeah, if they sign off for completely their rights, then yes, they may be able to not pay child support. I don't know if every
Absolutely.
province if that's how it works for every province,
Yeah, I know down in the
but
states that's where it works because that's where that's where I talk about this the most is in American politics, like political lives.
yeah,
So
but it's something I know that because I know a couple of guy friends that they pay child support and they have no access to their kids, right? So
mm,
I don't know how that's here in Nova Scotia. So I don't know how that works. But again, they chose to put it in there. I so I can't really
yeah, yeah,
it,
absolutely.
it is what it
Yeah.
is. Anyway, I'll mute.
Axeman. Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Axeman, I think you were trying to say something in the comments before. I don't know if you had anything to add any of what we're kind of like a 3-topic thing now.
Just wanted to remind people that for the provincial election, if you are upset with the roads, healthcare, education, those are all provincial things, and those are what you need to be voting on for this government. If they've been taking away your healthcare rights, if they've been taking away education or anything in the schools, that is not the federal government doing it. That is not the Liberals. That is the PCs. And they
Yeah.
love to blame the Liberals for those things, but it is not what is happening. My personal opinion, I find the Liberals and the PC are the same, or on the federal level, they're the same, or two sides of the same coin. So I don't think there's really any different. They both love to give tax breaks to large corporations.
Yeah.
I find that the Liberals are a little more central, but they're still right leaning as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think like financially they're right, but so fiscally they're right, but social issues and stuff like that, they're left. So they're kind of like, that's why they are like the liberals are very centrist. And like, so if you look at it that way, yes, like the liberals do tend to go like more corporation, but they still do the things that actually like look after the people at the same time, right? So it's kind of like a little bit of a balance. Me personally, I'm an NDP supporter, but I tend to vote liberal in federal elections. My riding never goes any of those colors anyway. I'm in a very progressive city, but my riding is very blue because of I'm in Alberta. That's
Yeah, me
part
too.
of it. Yeah, that's part of it. But I'm in a very uh hoity-toity gated community, like, yeah, like that's my riding. And they tend to be a lot of like the guys who work the corporate jobs and that kind of stuff. So I think that's why. Hi, Tia. Hi. So yeah.
I just want to respond to Can't Touch This 2.0.
Uh-huh.
Province fund themselves as well as they get federal funds, but most of their funding comes from the province itself. So
Yeah.
that's who funds provinces.
Yeah. I do have me personally, I have a video on my platform. It's like, so the very bottom beaver that's down there, that's mine. Um that's my nerdy, that's me. I bring my thing up so people can find me in here. But what I was going to say is I actually have a chart that I have on one of my videos. If you go to like my what is it? There's like the favorites. You know how you can favorite a video? You can bookmark it kind of thing with that little
Yeah.
the saved videos, right? I made my lists public. So if you go to I think it's in Political Canada, and it tells you the breakdown of what your municipality, your provincial, and your federal governments are responsible for. So it's a nice little breakdown on there. So people can actually realize that stuff that your premiers are telling you are federal issues aren't actually federal issues, they're provincial issues. And you should take it up with your premier and your MLA, not the federal government. So, Absorb going on to say something, and then I'm going to get to Divergent and introduce them.
Right, yeah. So I had a question. You guys are smarter than me, so you might have my answer for me. Um, I got an interesting call yesterday. It was a robocall. It was not from a political party of Ontario. Instead, it was from the Life Coalition .ca, which is a pro-lifer. Okay, I'm going to admit something bad here, guys. I'm a part of pro-lifer groups, and the reason why is when I lived down south, I used to counter-protest them, and the best way to know what they're up to is to be a part of their group, okay? So they do have my phone number. This robocall literally was directing me on who to vote for today. Do we have laws against that? Literally told me the party name, their name, everything. Like straight out, if you're a pro-lifer, you need to vote this person. So I assume the person is someone down south because that's when I was part of this group. I'm pretty like this feels like it might be illegal.
Phone calls from political parties and candidates.
Yeah, it was a Conservative Party member for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
For the person in the chat. Yes, 100%.
Oh man, I was gonna write down something. You said something, and I was gonna write something down, and then you sparked this for me to look this up, and I forgot to write down the thing that I was gonna say. Now I totally lost it. I don't remember what it was. Oh no.
It was less than 24 hours before. No, was it? Yeah, it was less than 24 hours before the election. That's for sure, BA.
Yeah, so certain entities who call Canadians during an election period for any purposes related to an election must register with us within 48 hours of making the first call. You can make a complaint.
I think I'm going to make a complaint.
There's a complaint line.
It was, I've never had a call like this before.
I'm on the CRTC website, so crtc.gc.ca. I'll take a screenshot. I don't have you on Discord. Are you on Discord?
Okay, VA, thank you.
Are you on Discord? Are you on Discord?
I am. I think I might have you on Discord. I'll have to check.
Do you?
If not, I'll reach out to Joe. You got Joe, right?
Nerdy in Wonderland. Yeah, nerdy.in.wonderland. And then I'm gonna save this page. I'll bookmark it, and I will I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
It's easier.
It was just weird.
I remember the thing I was going to say, because this is something I said earlier when I was doing the live, because some people were like, I'm leaving because I'm not going to listen to this person. And I was like, that's totally fine. Don't listen to the person. But the whole part of like having debate topics and debate like lives is so that you can talk to the other side and find out what they're saying so you can better combat it. Right. So you need to know what they're thinking and what they're saying and all that kind of stuff. And you can't do that unless you actually talk to them. And I know that it's like uncomfortable to do that, but sometimes it's really good to sit in your uncomfortability because you start learning things that way. Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like when you're being called in about anything that you've like said or done or anything like that. It's okay to be uncomfortable because then you're learning. So it's easier. Like you're
I would have loved to have a conversation, but it was a robocall. It was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have had a conversation with a person on the line.
Right. Oh my gosh. All right. Divergent. Frontline. I think. Did you want to say anything? I can't remember. And then I couldn't remember if you had your hand up at any point.
It's okay. The moment's passed. When it comes back, it'll come back.
No, it's all getting past you all the time.
It's all good.
Okay. Divergent. Divergent neuro.
Yep.
Like neurodivergent.
Yep. You got it. If I put it together.
Can I grab age and province, please?
I'm 43 and from BC, but I'm actually originally American.
Okay. So you're a dual?
Yeah. Well, I'll get my dual citizenship in like a year and a half or so.
Okay, so you're a permanent resident then right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. What did you want to add to the conversation?
I don't think that man knows how to make a cake, but I also get like needing to create a space for a conversation. I think it's really important to hear each other in some of these things, even though we might not get it sometimes. But there's a certain point that I get where it's like, I can only repeat myself so many times, and they're just not going to hear it. And there's a lot of, I'm non-binary, and in like deconstructing sort of my place in the world, it led to a lot of like uncomfortability and like having to sit with accountability. And that's like what the only way I knew to be. But it's like what's happening with the infighting between parties is by design, just to push each other away and for us to not see each other as human beings and to see our own humanity. I don't know. I
Yeah.
I do have to say as a critique that Canadians are a lot more gullible to the propaganda of the United States than they think they are, and it's scary.
Yeah, and I think, well, I mean, because we're very influenced by American media, right? And we always
Yeah.
have been. We're their closest neighbors, so we tend to get. Thank you for the roses. We tend to. I'm gonna say, like, especially in Alberta, like my province, we are so influenced by American life and American media and everything. Like,
Well,
I
you guys
ship
know more
Canada to the
about our
convoy. We're from my
you
province.
you guys know more about about the politics in the United States than most of my friends do down there, which
Yeah,
is no joke, and
100%.
the rest of the world does, and people from the States don't realize that about themselves either. It's
Yeah, well,
a
that's a lot of that. Sorry.
no, it's just like it's like this weird codependent relationship that we're in, like a toxic abusive relationship where we just it's so bad between
Mm-hmm.
Canada and the United States. But
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
the world is coming to see what's happening also. So
yeah. A lot of that, like a lot of, oh man, it was there and it's gone. Man, it's so late, and my meds are like not kicking in anymore. Okay. One thing I wanted to say is I'm going back to the cake thing. I just want to say this popped into my head was like he doesn't know how to make a cake, and then I was like, oh god, baby batter, and that's what went into my head right in that moment. Baby batter.
I thought that too. I have to say, I maybe that was the best. Yeah, that was the worst and best explanation you could have probably given. But like,
Oh my god.
let's be honest, his wife made him the cake and he threw it on the ground.
Oh my god, that's wild. That's wild. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so biggest thing for Ontarians, is that what you guys call yourself? Ontarians. It's so weird because you have, I mean, I guess we have a at the end, but Ontarians, make sure you go out and vote. Everybody, if you're in Ontario, go out and vote, please. Because like everybody was saying, like the only reason Doug Ford won last time is because so few people went out to vote. You have to realize that every single one of your votes counts. Every one. Because if everybody who said that their vote didn't count actually went out to vote, then their votes would make a difference. Uh, every single vote makes a difference. It doesn't, like, even mine, okay? Like I said, I'm in a very, very blue area, which amazingly went orange in the provincial election. I'm so excited. But anyway, we went orange last time. But I'm in a very blue riding, and I vote for, NDP or Liberal no matter what. So vote for your party no matter what. If enough of you get out there to do it, you will make a difference and you will change things. So, and Doug Ford won't get in. You can't let Doug Ford get in, please.
Can I speak for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Look what
frontline.
look what happened here in Nova Scotia. We had in our provincial election, like we had 15% of the voters or something like that, and we have a super majority conservative, and Tim Houston just tried to make it he backed down, but he tried to make it that that they could fire the auditor general for, I think that's what it is, sorry, for no reason. He
You
backed
mean the
down on
person
it.
who's supposed to hold them accountable?
Yes, look it up. It was in one of those omni-bill general things. He backed down from it, but it included making it that you didn't have to pay for crossing the bridge in Halifax, which is a really big deal for Halifax people. I don't know how we're going to pay to fix these really old bridges, but in this omni bill, it was included that they want things to be more private than they are. They don't. And yeah, so that was up last week. And then I think it was yesterday, the day before, he backed down on that part.
Yeah, I'm reading that right now on the 24th, so 3 days ago. withdrawing from the changes that would have allowed Auditor General to be fired without cause. This is what sees.
And this guy is from my riding. This guy is from my riding. I voted for him the first election when he had, like, because he's a nice guy. I met him at the local YMCA type thing. He's a nice guy. Same as Sean Fraser's from my riding. He's a nice guy. His kid's friends with my kid. Yeah, Sean Fraser's daughter is one of my daughter's good friends. I wish he wasn't stepped down because I think I have no idea. This riding has always been conservative up until Sean Fraser. So I'm really worried about this coming election because if they put in somebody stupid, then even though...
Well, I mean, Sean Fraser decided not to run in the federal election anymore because he wants to be the Liberal leader there.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. But I'm worried about the federal election, though, because if they bring somebody back like Peter MacKay or something like that, this riding has always gone blue up until Sean Fraser.
Yeah.
So, which would suck.
But there's always things that happen too that, like look at New Brunswick. New Brunswick went totally opposite. They went from a conservative government to a liberal government, right? And this is a conservative government that was putting in like anti-trans laws and stuff like that too. So,
and when Tim Houston first went in, I always felt he was more liberal than conservative, but we had Stephen McNeil Stephen McNeil was his own kettle of fish that he was a little bit crazy himself.
Oh man. Same thing with, I was gonna say the other thing too. Manitoba was like a huge change, right? You go from conservative Heather Stephenson to NDP Wab Canoe, who's doing amazing things for that province now, like amazing things. So I think a lot of it, like if you get to a lot of things, like things can't be changed in like the chart. I think it's like things can't be changed in the charter or the constitution or something like that without, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but there has to be like the provinces have to be on board with it, right? It's seen like down in the States where the states have to be on board with it.
It has to be unanimous, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So if you end up having like a whole bunch of conservative leadership, then they're going to be on board with changing it, right? But when you get like such a good mix and stuff like that, or you get the ones who actually like look after the people, then you're not going to have anything like that happen. So it's amazing how actually very similar our Constitution, like our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, is actually very similar to the American Constitution in a lot of ways. But sometimes ours is better. Like we give extra people rights and put them in protected classes that the states don't do. So, Frontline, you wanted to go next.
All right. Since we're talking about the Ontario election, I thought I would bring it home a little bit. I think I know a lot of people out east are, waking up and getting on TikTok lives already. So I just wanted to talk about Doug Ford's failures. I made a list, so I'd like to go through my list. Number 1. Massive public debt. He's continued to rise his debt, even though he's constantly promising fiscal responsibility and then doing the complete opposite. So I find that quite hypocritical. The Ontario Place scandal. The costs ballooned up to $2.2 billion from his initial $400 million estimate. Pretty wild cost, if you ask me. He's cutting down 850 trees for a private spa. His hospitals are overcrowded. There's ER closures. There's staff shortages because he focused on privatization instead of actually fixing public health care. He's made some pretty big education cuts, which have led to larger class sizes and reduced resources for students. Special education programs have been completely underfunded. When it comes to housing affordability, literally he's done nothing about it. Like he's taken no real action to fix it, and he just continues to favor developers over affordable housing projects. The Greenbelt scandal, right? He tried to sell the protected Greenbelt land to developers, which would just benefit wealthy insiders. He's obviously faced like massive public backlash, and that's why he reversed course, but he was going to do it. He's been weak on climate policies, and he just keeps delaying any sort of green energy initiatives. He removed bike lanes in Toronto, making the streets less safe. He's delayed public transit projects, and he's gone over budget on the ones that he has done. He's given tax breaks to big corporations while cutting healthcare and education. He mismanaged his COVID-19 response. He had really slow lockdowns, lack of personal protection equipment for healthcare workers, inconsistent policies all over the place. He's had multiple ethics violations in his government, especially when it comes to land deals and inside favors. And at the end of the day, when we look at polling, 60% of Ontarians say that they want him gone. But unfortunately, the left splits its vote all the time. And that's why he keeps getting in. And then people also I don't know what it is about Canada, but I notice it everywhere I go. We suck at provincial elections. I don't know what it is, but we suck at provincial elections. We know about the federal elections. We see them coming. We prepare for them. But when it comes to provincial elections, I hear so many people go, oh, that's today? Or, oh, that happened last week. Oh, I knew it was happening around this time. But I don't think our media is doing a good job of letting people know about the provincial elections and making it a really important thing. So I think that's one of the biggest problems. But again, I just wanted to go through my list so I can make it really clear that this man has really screwed things up for Ontario.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree
Before,
with
1 second.
no advertising.
I just want to do a really quick thing. If I could get everybody to tap, 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 tap. We got 51 people in here. You guys do a power tap for like 30 seconds to a minute. We can easily get over 20K because we should have been there already. And if you're in here as well, share this out to your friends. Some of your friends are waking up right now. So put your finger down on my finger right here. Hold it down on the screen. And then you're going to have a screen pop up. And then you can go send to all your friends. Right now, we are currently at 87 shares. So if we can get up over 100, maybe like 125, if everybody in here shares it out to one person, we will easily get to 130 people being shared to. So if everybody can just do one share each, that'd be fantastic. Look at that. We're at 106 already, 108, 109. I'm going to start doing my little auctioneer thing I do on my Mistress Trash Panda account. I got 120. Can I get 125? 125, 125. Can I do 125? Anyway, okay. So yeah, get some shares going. Let's get our power tap in over 20K. Sharing is caring and tapping is clapping. It's all free to do. If you want to help out and support our little gift goal up top there as well, we do have the rosas going on right now. And subscribe to us if you want to help support our channel. We go live 7 days a week. We have 10 shows that we do. Today is a really long one. We're breaking it up into the 3-hour sections, but we do have we started at 6 p.m. Mountain Time yesterday, and we're going to 11 p.m. Mountain Time tonight. So let's make sure that we are support the channel. We do have a Discord if you want to join that. It is in our link tree in our bio, and every single episode of Beaver Politics gets posted onto YouTube. These ones, I'm going to say give me about 48 hours to have each one of them up, because every 3-hour section, I'm going to be downloading them and popping them up onto YouTube. But it takes time to do all of that stuff. So give me about 48 hours to get all of this put up. And yeah, we're good to go. Absorbed One, what would you like to say?
Oh, I was going to agree with Frontline, but now I'm rethinking what I was going to say, because I was going to say that I agree there's not a lot of advertisement. Most people don't even know the election is today, those people I've spoken to in the last 2 weeks. But is it not enough advertisement, or is it that we all cut the cord? We don't have cable. We don't listen to the general radio. We listen to Spotify. We're not inundated with commercials to begin with anymore in society. And that's why so many people may be uninformed about elections. Now, when it comes to federal, all of Canada starts fighting. You see it all over social media, at least, right? So, of course, people know when the federal elections are going to happen, but provincial and municipal elections might, pass a lot of people by just because they've cut the cord.
I think this is where it's a detriment that we do have it separate. Like if you look at the states, right? Like they have it together. They have their state elections and their federal election is all at the same time unless they have runoff races. But I think that's where because it becomes this big huge thing, right? Where everybody is doing it at the same time. And if we're doing it all separately, like if you look at there's a calendar, there's a list of when all the elections take place and stuff. I have it in my little politics thing. But there's a list of when every single election takes place, and they're all over the place. It's like every year, twice a year, there's a province or a municipality or something like you know what I mean? Like they're all having different. It's all over the place all the time, and I think that's I think that's part of what is a detriment to it. If we had it all at the same time, it would be a lot better. Frontline wants to respond. And if anybody else on the panel wants to respond, just put your hand up in the chat and I will see you. I will see you.
I wanted to say that this is why I think that Elections Canada really needs to understand the shift in how we consume our information, because they should be playing YouTube ads on Facebook, ads on, I mean, even TikTok, right? Actually, like what JB is doing with his smartvoting.ca, he wants to turn that into an actual app, an interactive app that people can just have on their phone so that you actually get notifications like, hey, your provincial election is happening. Hey, your municipal election is happening, or town hall, or whatever it is that is important to you. But if people are more integrated with an app that's on their phone that lets them know kind of what's going on in their area all the time, that would be really, really good. But it's great that, us as the people are kind of taking this into our own hands and trying to do it. But I honestly believe that our government should be doing this. Our government should be making it more accessible. And I think even the Liberal Party, and I'm going to say it, even the Liberal Party, like they're a little bit behind. The Conservatives are all over the place. Oh, you go on YouTube and every 15 minutes you'll see a Pure Polyev commercial pop up. And the Liberals have not been doing that. They're not on social media. They're not interacting with people on social media. And that's where people are these days. You have to meet them where they're at. So I honestly do believe that that's one of the biggest problems, is that we're still behind in how we're dealing with elections, how we're dealing with politics. They kind of need to put it in people's face so that people know. Put some ads up on social media. Let people know elections are happening. It shouldn't be that hard. They have the money to do it. Anyway, that was my piece. Just think that that's something we need to work on.
I'm just checking to see if I missed any hands. Divergent! You get to go. Oh wait, Axeman was first. Sorry, I missed a hand. Axeman, then Divergent.
I'll let Divergent go first. I want to hear what they have to say.
Okay, perfect. Divergent and then Axeman. Are you talking? Because I can't hear you. Am I frozen?
You're good.
Okay. Sometimes I never know.
Sorry.
I can hear you now. Okay.
Okay, I think we need to build community and not wait for the government to tell us what to do, and that's how it happens. And the detachment of our society of like sort of the idea of the nuclear family really removes us in like sort of how the American exceptionalism type thing goes. It drives that division between us. And I truly think that by trying to build community locally in little ways that you can with your neighbors and with people that you know, that's how the changes start. And that's how the connections are made with people that you might not see. And it's really hard to know where to start, but like with any movement, it starts with like the involvement of community, and like it's how queer people have existed, it's how the Black cultures have existed, it's how Indigenous people have had the audacity to survive in Canada, is through their own culture and community, and like we have to find our own here. And I do think it's like we're immune. All of us are immune to the propaganda that we receive of all the different messages, the bombardment of social media, of the news. But like through connection with other people, I can guarantee you a lot more can happen. Discussions like this can facilitate that, and we can find community over the internet too. But like, it really does need to happen more locally. That's it.
Okay. I just wanted to say frontline. Somebody in the comments is talking about how apparently you're part of Anonymous, and I think it's because of your Guy Fawkes mask that's in your profile picture.
I just found that funny because, like, if I was, would I ever tell anybody? I mean, I can have a
Right?
profile picture, but like,
Right? Do you not know what remember or remember the 5th of November is about? Come on, guys. All right, Axeman, your turn.
All right, I just wanted to touch on the point you said, like, would it be nice to have a fixed election days? And I don't think it is, because
No.
I talked to American friends, and I have to explain to them that, oh, you have an election already, or oh, why have you had an election yet, or blah blah blah. But anyway, I like it because we can, if the person really sucks, we can change it right away. We don't have to be an insufferable, like, oh, we have 3 more years of this crap or whatever. On the flip side, though, is if you could have like an election after an election. If there's like, for example, this election, Doug Ford got a lot of praise for the way he stood up to the Orange Cheeto south of us, whereas my premier did embarrassing things. So, but and that's why they call it quick election because, oh, I'm in favor, I can maybe get some more seats, which is also a waste of a lot of money in the same breath. But I would rather have the option to annex or quickly strengthen a party with that choice instead of having the fixed election date.
Right. No, and I can understand that for sure. For sure. I think if you went with something like more along the lines of like even a 2 year, instead of 4 years. I mean, I know 2 years isn't a lot of time, but maybe some positions could be like 2 years. I don't know. Anyway, John B. I guess it's a good thing that I write with my right hand. Hey, uh, Absorb One. You wanted to talk next.
First off, we're not burning the lefties anymore. I'm a lefty. Okay, I write with my left hand. Always have. Um, let's not come after the leftists.
Right?
Okay,
Stop going after the
we can't help
lefties.
it. We
Jesus.
can't help it. Second, I agree
We were
with
born this way.
Axeman about having like a permanent date like some countries do. But may I suggest making voting mandatory in Canada the way it is in Australia? May I suggest
Yes.
that? I'm
Yes. I
right.
love
Like
that.
I'm
Yes. They
okay
get
with
fined if they
mandatory
don't
voting.
vote.
Yeah. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
should, because Canada doesn't ask anything of you as a citizen except to vote. We don't draft, we don't, so vote. It's your civic right and duty. Do it. So mandatory voting, I'm all for it.
Here, where is it? Failure to vote. I don't think that's it. Yeah, there's like non-voters.
I think it's like $100 for them. It's actually not that expensive of a
I think
fine.
it
And they
goes
make a
up
party
all the
about it.
time though. So if you have received a notice for not voting in a federal election by election or referendum and wish to pay the $20 administrative penalty, you can do so online. What? I think that's not the quick the actual Australian Electoral Commission. Does that sound? No, that's the same one. I think that I was looking at. I don't know. Anyway, did anybody else have their hand up? I wasn't looking in the comments yet. But I really like that
No.
idea.
Australia also makes it a national holiday on voting day, and they actually like have parties outside of their voting polls, like barbecues and
Yeah.
stuff. Like it's a holiday.
this is the thing. Like, I'm gonna quickly go to the States for a second because, like, who was it? I think it was Chris Rock maybe that said something about it, but like putting it on like, no, it wasn't Chris Rock. I don't, fuck. Who was it? It was something about it being like on the coldest day of the year. Or like it's always in November. It's a Tuesday in November. That's like the worst time for people to go out and vote. You like literally make it very difficult for people to go out and vote in the States. That's the thing. And some places have a good idea of, like, in Europe they do it on weekends because most people tend to be off during the weekends, right? They make it a little bit easier for you to vote because they want you to have they want you to use your democratic right, like to go and vote and express
Look,
your
we're having an election in the middle of February that's supposed to be the coldest and snowiest month of the year,
yeah.
right?
Well, for you
It's not.
guys,
We're lucky. It's very mild, but
I was gonna say
that
it's like
stops people
+8
from
here
going
every day
out.
the last couple days. Yeah. Um, but yeah, like October's still not that bad. Like for us to have an election then. May is really nice. I like that. That's what we do here in Alberta apparently is May. So, I can't wait for another 2 more years though. Seriously. She needs to be gone now.
Well, interesting you say that, Divergent. You say everyone will be on vacation. Ontario, all our snowbirds are in Florida right now. My
It's true.
in-laws can't vote. They never got their mail-in
Mm-hmm.
in
It's true.
time. And
There
I
was
know a
somebody,
lot that didn't.
ex-Canadian. There was an ex-Canadian in here earlier, and he said he voted by mail, because he's living in the Cayman Islands right now. Yep. Don't give the lefties any more time off. I love the way that you think that people, like, do you think that, like, everybody who's a lefty doesn't work? I'm confused.
It's funny because Ford took the most time off in any premier in Ontario ever. So interesting concept that it's the
That's
lefties.
every conservative though, right? They always get paid to do absolutely nothing. They just sit there and, complain about the things that are wrong and don't actually fix them. They just make them worse.
That's true.
So it's wild. But yeah, so I really want to make sure that everybody remembers we're top of the hour. We got one more hour left with me, and then Mrs. Radical is going to be taking over, and she's going to be doing some crafts with you guys while you guys talk. So, she's got a nice little fun Canadian craft planned for everybody, which is kind of cool. But I'm just gonna quickly do a little commercial break. Don't forget we have shows 7 days a week. On tomorrow, all of our shows are taken for this. So the next show after this is gonna be Pixie Lee on Friday with her Canadian. Oh my god, I'm yawning already. I haven't gone to bed yet. That's why. Canadian History with a Purple Crayon. Canadian History with a Purple Crayon is Pixie Lee's show on Friday, and then on Friday night you have Polititalk with me. I do 6-hour debates on Friday nights, starting at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and we go all night long. And then we have Breaking the Dam with Jana Saturday morning. Morning, afternoon, and then Radical has Radicalized on Saturday night. So those are the next shows that are coming up, and we have, like I said, 7 days a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We have 2 shows a day. So everybody that's up in that little picture up here, see this little picture right here, that's all of our beavers and a moose. We have 9 beavers and a moose, and the moose is in the comments right now. All right, we've gone through talking about AB. We've talked about the Ontario election. I was on when you went to bed. No, I've only been on here for like less than 2 hours. It wasn't me. Frontline was on before me. And Pixie was on before that. So we are going all day and all night. All day and all night. Yeah. When you went to bed, I was probably driving. I was doing deliveries. So, anybody else? What's another topic of concern that we can talk about right now, guys?
Honestly, healthcare is such a improvement in quality of life from moving up from the States that it really needs to be protected, and anything at all costs. It is scary to live in fear, and just having that removed made living in Canada, I don't know, it improved my quality of life a lot. So just saying that, Canadians,
Yeah.
it's really important.
So, speaking on that, I was up on a panel yesterday afternoon-ish. It was like a larger American creator, which I was like super excited, also super nervous about. But there was a convoy supporting Canadian up there who needed to be set straight. So I requested and I went up and yeah, she was talking about the convoy and how it was a peaceful protest. And how I'm talking about healthcare. And one of the things that really boggles my mind is how they talk about people down in the States don't understand that healthcare up here is actually better. We don't pay anything. We pay less taxes up here than they do down in the States, and we have free healthcare. Like, people think that your taxes are going to go up exponentially because of it. I mean, the taxes might, because you're already paying like massive taxes down there and nothing gets done with it. But when you have your healthcare, you don't have to worry about going, like, they pay $600 a month for their insurance. $600 a month plus paying for their medical care. Yeah, we pay for park if that. Some of the places I go don't have pay for parking. If you go to the smaller clinics just outside the city, we don't have to pay for parking for it. So yeah, exactly. You have a deductible that you have to pay for it. I was in the hospital. I had to go to the emergency in October because I was having. I'm gonna stop yawning. I swear to God, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to cover it so I don't make anybody else yawn. But I was having chest pains like right underneath my rib cage, and because that's a sign of potential heart attack in women, I went to the emergency, and it turns out it was only a hiatus hernia, so it's just like my esophagus. Yay! But all the tests that I had done and everything. Thank you. You said yawning, so it's gonna happen. All the tests that I had done, I had two rounds of blood work done. I had 2 sets of X-rays done. I had a ultrasound done. I had to go for a CT, and then all of the other things that they did, and poking me, prodding me, all that kind of stuff would have cost over $10,000 down in the States. Over $10,000. And I paid $5 for my prescription. That's it. That was it. So, I do want to FedEx that's in here. So it was overthinking as a woman again. Okay, so here's the thing. Did you know that yawning is actually a sign of empathy? Think about that. A sign of empathy. So if you see somebody yawn and then you yawn, it usually means you're a very empathetic person. So I'm extremely empathetic because even if you talk about it, I yawn. We're going to stop talking about it now because I'm going to start yawning again. So I do it when my bird yawns. Okay. Anyway, that being said, healthcare. Let's talk healthcare. Ontario, what has Doug done for your healthcare? Hello?
Cut a lot of it.
I'm like, hello?
Sorry, getting my water ready for the day.
You're good. Frontline, where's your list? What has Doug done for healthcare? Or not done for healthcare? Or done to destroy healthcare?
Healthcare would probably be a better thing. Well, he hasn't done anything for the public healthcare system, right? He's been trying to privatize things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Just like Danielle. You're good.
Cat is going crazy for some reason. Here, give me like 1 minute and then I'll be back. I gotta go figure out what my cat is up to because I feel like he's breaking down the house.
Yeah, you're good.
Doug
Let's see.
pays
Let's look at Doug Ford's. Okay, so I'm on his page, by the way, OntarioPC.ca, and this is the Our Pledge to Get It Done. And we plan to stay open, and we have a plan to stay open, and we'll hire more doctors, nurses, and personal support workers. We'll help seniors stay in their own homes longer and produce more PPE and vaccines right here in Ontario, so we don't have to rely on other countries ever again. Okay. Who's going to take care of them in their homes? What if they need it? I'm so confused. Can somebody answer that question? Where are the doctors coming from? Because I'll tell you this, every single doctor that's actually trained in other countries, they don't actually get to be doctors over here. They have to actually like take more because they don't live up to our standards apparently, even though they're trained better than they are in North America.
All right, I'm
Can you come
back.
up and talk healthcare? Yeah, you can come up and talk healthcare. I Moose, for you. Oh, who just dropped? Absorb one dropped. Okay. I was gonna drop a nerdy, but okay. Moose, come on up. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Election Connection.
I was already I was gonna.
Man,
Okay, I'll shut up.
that's okay, no worries. I totally forgot that I was gonna do like a singing thing and everything, where if like people gave me a certain gift, I was gonna sing. I forgot that I was going to do that, and now it's late, and my voice is tired anyway. So, anyway,
Hey,
if
everybody.
somebody gives us a galaxy, I might sing a song. Maybe I'll rap a song. How about that?
Do you want me to go over the numbers that I have and then pass it over to
and
the
then Moose can
progressive
talk.
moose?
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you tell that I'm getting tired?
Yeah, I can. So, in 2020, the Ford government spent $3.5 billion less on healthcare than was budgeted. Despite a 2018 promise to end hallway medicine, the number of patients on stretchers in hallways increased by over 125%. A survey of 1,052 Ontario health at-home care coordinators revealed that ongoing health system restructuring has failed to address care and access gaps, leading to widespread turmoil and uncertainty among healthcare staff. In May 2023, the passage of Bill 60 allowed private clinics to perform more surgeries and procedures covered by the Ontario Health Insurance Plan. And people have argued that this move diverts resources from the public system and accelerates healthcare privatization. Ontario experienced 1,199 emergency room closures in 2023, primarily in rural areas due to staff shortages. Issue worsened in 2024 with nearly 15,000 hours of ER or urgent care closures reported. And yeah, frontline nurses and healthcare professionals have publicly criticized the government's handling of the healthcare systems, highlighting underfunctioning, understaffing, and concerns over increasing privatization. So those are just a little bit of numbers, but I will give it over to the progressive moose.
Hello, Moose.
Hey guys, great live by the way so far. I've been tuned in for most of it anyway. Drinking my coffee. On Ontario healthcare, guys. I'm gonna bring up a personal example because I think it's a really good tell on how healthcare is going. So, just for context, my father passed back in October, and one of the things that he dealt with or was able to do because of how the healthcare system is crumbling here in Ontario, he had at-home care where they would have PSWs or registered nurses show up. But the reason why he was at home is because the healthcare teams and systems are so overburdened in the hospitals that they'd rather send people home. And credit where credit's due to the healthcare workers, where they made sure he had everything he needed to be comfortable at home. But the fact is, even when it comes to family healthcare units, if my dad would have been able to get in and see a doctor sooner, it probably wouldn't have changed anything, but he would have been a lot more comfortable in his last days dealing with what he was. Um, But the fact is that Doug Ford has made millions of cuts since the moment he got into office, and he's not putting the healthcare workers into place. So even though my dad had the at-home care, there were plenty of times where whether it was a PSW or the registered nurse were running behind because they don't have enough staff to cover the people that they need to. So they end up working massive shifts and behind schedule most of the day because they don't have enough people covering everyone. Um, yeah, I think in a lot of cases, a lot of people in Ontario right now are suffering needlessly because Doug just hasn't bolstered our healthcare system. And like Frontline pointed out, he's been giving money to the private sector more so than the public sector, and it's leading to people suffering, whether it's at home or in hospital. And at this point, I mean, it's a basic human right to have proper health care, in my opinion, and really under international law. So at this point, why are we having people suffer through their last days uh, because of bureaucrats that decide that they don't want to fund the things that are, you know, fundamentally our rights as Canadians to have proper health care? Oh, you're muted.
I'm checking to see if there are any hands up in the comments, and I don't see any hands. I forgot that I muted when I moved away from the screen. Um, yeah, healthcare is a 100% human right. It is a human right. And it is in our like our Canadian Constitution and Charter Rights and Freedoms that we are entitled to life. Entitled to life.
Yeah, and again, the cuts, I mean, I don't have all the information right in front of me, but I mean, the cuts that he made, I remember a friend of mine had to go for a colonoscopy. And, you know, one of the bare minimum things is that when that procedure gets done, they used to give a sort of freezing for the discomfort that you feel getting such things. And
Yeah.
they don't have that anymore. There's no freezing, there's no numbing. It's essentially put the glove on, you know, squirt a bit of lube on there, and in they go. Um, it's bare basic minimum stuff that Doug has cut in the healthcare system that really just makes things more complicated and makes patients more uncomfortable in different ways, whether it's physically or just how abrasive the system's gotten due to lack of staffing or just healthcare being run down and needing to just continue to work even though they don't have the energy to do so. And it affects how our treatment, how we get treated while we're in the healthcare. Um, let alone, you know, the budget cuts and how that affects us physically going through the healthcare system.
Right. Axeman, you wanted to talk. You had your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the government likes to point out that the healthcare system is failing and they are purposely defunding it. I mean, it's awesome to say, hey, the ship is sinking as they stoke the fire. They tried to privatize a couple of things in Alberta. Most recently, they privatized the labs with Dynalife, which was a huge flop. And I mean, it cost us millions of dollars. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it cost us millions of dollars to switch over to Dynalife to have them take over. They did it for, I think, a year and a half, maybe 3 years most. And it cost us hundreds of millions of dollars to buy it back. And I mean,
$31.5 million to transition back from Dynalife. It doesn't tell me how much it was to switch over though.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, a lot of money that could have gone to paying for education, paying for the hospitals. I live in the city of Red Deer. We are in desperate need of a hospital. It's been a campaign promise for the last 6 elections. And on top of hospitals, on that, people also got to understand with wait times in hospitals, it is a triage. So you go there with a broken arm, you're going to be there for the full length. You go there with a heart condition, you will be put in so fast, and you know, because of priority. priority and stuff like that. So a lot of people complain about the wait times, and if you're going to the hospital for the wrong reason, we had really good education on that. Just before the pandemic in Alberta, we used to have urgent care centers and stuff like that where you go for your broken arm and less important things to free up the emergencies. But now it just seems that everything's being bogged down. And I mean, this is just them playing the game of, oh, look how bad the system is. What else could we do? The private system is not better. It'll be much worse, and it'll cost a lot of money. The price of a surgeon for the private ones that we have in Alberta went from $4,500 to $8,500 for a knee surgery, and that was just brought out in the last couple of days. Danielle Smith's under investigation for that with scandal and bribes and all that, and it's like currently they're being sued by the former CEO of AHS and all that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's 5 a.m. here. I'm exhausted. I will be stepping down. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being up here. Hang on, I'm gonna follow you on my other account first before you drop down. Okay, I got you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Do you want me to drop you? I'll drop you. Okay. All right. I think did I have anybody else? Nobody else is in there. If anybody else wants to come up and talk, we still got another 39 minutes left with me, and then you get Mrs. Radical at 6 o'clock, and I am gonna go to bed because I need sleep. I've only been up since 11:30 yesterday. This is great. Thank you. Thank you. It is our 24 plus hour live, guys. We are doing, we switch up every 3 hours. We have a new Beaver or Moose taking over. Actually, the Moose started it, so it's new Beavers going forward. We do have a schedule. It is on it's a pinned video in our bio. So if you want to check out the schedule, find out when your favorite host is going to be on there, go have a look at it. All the times are in Pacific and Eastern on there. And don't forget, we are 7 days a week. We're 7 days a week now. We have all those Beavers and the Moose up there. Everybody up there has shows, 10 shows, 7 days a week. So there's also a list of all the shows in our other pinned video. All right, let me see who's trying to come up here. Angela keeps changing her profile picture on me.
Good morning.
Hello, Angela. How are you? Red ketchup.
Tired.
What color ketchup would it be? Hello, Angela. How are you today?
A little stressed and worried about today's election. I just want to mention one thing. A lot of people don't realize when you mentioned about home care and how he made the commitment for home care, he said that before and he never delivered. And I can prove that because our mom, she was 90 years old. Her health was deteriorating. She was at home, and we paid for her health care. We paid over $100,000 for our own health care. That's what it is like in here in Ontario. Our system has failed. It's just absolutely failed. He makes promises and he doesn't deliver. That's the bottom line. And people need to understand that and wake up. If he gets in for 4 more years, he's not going to deliver what he says. I also have a child in a group home, and I'm terrified. If he gets in for another 4 years, the Ministry of Children, Youth, and Social Services has already cut funding to a group home, which you must be aware of, the Jake's House, and it, supported individuals, adults with intellectual and physical disabilities, and their doors shut down. And that means that either they go back home, that's how our system works, how broken our system is in Ontario. Sorry, I just woke up. And so either they go back home, which means elderly parents or caregivers will have to take care of them until they can find another place. There's 50,000 people waiting, and I know that for a fact. 50,000 are waiting for a home in Ontario with intellectual and physical disabilities. He has not done anything to our system at all to improve it. And the reality begets in for 4 more years. I'm terrified, and so many are. Our group homes are failing. We have so many issues in group homes. We have abuse. We have all different things happening. And the Minister of Children, Youth, and Social Services was aware of it and never addressed it or acted on it. And that's the reality of what's happening here in Ontario.
Thanks, Angela. Guys, these are like testimonies of what's going on in this province. So let's make sure that this doesn't continue anymore, okay? Get out and vote. If you're from Ontario, the 58 people in here, if you're from Ontario, if you're from Ontario or you know friends that are people that are from Ontario, invite those people from Ontario in here right now so we can remind them to go out and vote, okay? Go through your list. Go and send out the live to a bunch of your friends from Ontario. I know you've got friends from Ontario in here or on TikTok. So go and share the live to everybody who is from Ontario. Okay? Get them in here so we can remind them to go out to vote. Yes. Moose, you unmuted.
just
Sorry, you wanted to talk.
Yeah, sorry, just quickly to bolster what Angela said. I mean, the fact is look back during the pandemic in Ontario, we actually had our armed forces, at least the medical aspect of it, join our long-term care facilities to help take care of our elderly, because the private sector was completely fumbling the ball. They were understaffed, under-resourced, and that's the for-profit care system that has taken hold in long-term care in Ontario. And my point being, Ford promised when that happened, when we saw the armed forces helping in our long-term care facilities, Doug Ford promised to, essentially get rid of the private sector in that long-term care, and that he would fix the issues. And it just goes to show healthcare in general, or health in general, he's done the complete opposite, because not once has he made any changes to the long-term care system. If anything, it's become more private than it was during the pandemic. And I'm just, looking forward, if something else were to happen, we'd be in the same scenario, and there'd be needless people losing their lives because Doug Ford just continued to, lie and speak from the side of his mouth and not actually get shit done.
Yep. Um, Anybody else want to add to that? I can't speak on specifics about Doug Ford. I can tell you about Danielle Smith because that's my.
Ooh, I can add something.
Excellent.
Doug Ford spent millions of dollars running ads on Fox News. Why the fuck is he running ads on Fox News instead of spending it on healthcare or housing? But no, apparently he spent it on the Sean Hannity show on Fox News. Just so that he can tell, just so that he can tell Trumper Americans that we're still good friends with them and they shouldn't put tariffs on us. And I have to actually link this back to the fact that this orange Cheeto Mussolini just keeps messing with us with these tariffs. Oh, we're going to put tariffs on you on March 4th. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to wait till April. I actually think he's trying to use it as a political manipulation tool to try and help out the conservatives. In my opinion, because then the conservative goes, oh well, look, it's because of the Fox News ads. He listened, and now we're not getting them for another 30 days. So anyway, just pointing that out there, that spending money on Fox News ads is a waste of money. And there's people in here that are saying, oh, Doe should come to Canada. Well, yeah, Doe should kick Doug Ford out because he's one of the most corrupt premiers, him and Danielle Smith. Anyway, I'm done now.
Nice. I think part of that might be because like the Maple MAGA tend to watch Fox though too, right? So he's literally he's sending messages to his people. It's not like it's going to go anywhere else. It's just going to go to his people because most people don't watch Fox News, but
Yeah, and I mean, even Doug was caught on a high mic after Trump won, saying that he was happy that Trump won.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, how did Doug word it? Pretty much said he swung the knife and has done what he's done in terms of talking about Trump and the tariffs and all that jazz, which is really telling because he absolutely is somebody that was happy that Trump got into the office. Um, and looking at that, and I brought it up last night on mine, where Doug Ford's talking about opening up the Ring of Fire in terms of resources as well here in Ontario. And that's one thing I pointed out where, yeah, okay, we're going to be using in Ontario in terms of EV batteries and that sort of stuff. So the lithium, the cobalt, but there's also the nickel and other resources up here in Northern Ontario he wants to open up by using the Ring of Fire. I pose the question of how many people or how much of that minerals do you think is actually going to end up staying in Canada, and how much of it is actually going to go to the States? Because at this point, um, we trade and we send most of our natural resources down to the United States in the first place as is. So depending how this whole trade situation goes and tariff situation, we're just going to continue to do the same and send most of those resources down to the south of the border. So how is it really going to help us here in Ontario or Canada if we open up that ring of fire? The only thing that's going to happen is they're going to destroy the environment and therefore causing more issues for the indigenous communities that live in the area by essentially poisoning the environment around them. And again, it's not going to do a lick of good for Ontario. Yes, we'll get the trade aspect of the minerals, and it'll probably help our GDP and all that, you know, rigmarole financially. But in the end, we're feeding into Trump's plan in terms of resources, right? He's going after us. He wants Greenland for resources. He's going after Ukraine for resources in repayment of everything U.S. has done to help them. The Panama Canal, all that stuff. Trump's going for resources, and Ford is opening up the Ring of Fire in Ontario. It's not a coincidence. This is all kind of factored in. Uh, Ford trying to play into Trump's hands and show him favor without actually saying it out loud.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I want to say with Ukraine, is that the funny thing is that Ukraine was going to be paying all of that back anyway. Like that's part of the agreement was to pay back. So
Mm, I don't think so.
really, because every American Live I've been in always says that.
Yeah, I think they're actually wrong on that because what the EU and US did for a lot of it, what the US did was they basically gave them like recycled or not recycled, but military equipment that they weren't going to use anymore anyway.
Right, but you have to consider the Budapest memorandum. Those like it's only specific groups that are part of that memorandum that talks about that though.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's nothing in there that says that they need to pay them back. Like the Budapest memorandum
I'll
says
look it up.
if you get
I'll have to look it up.
yeah, because like that's what Trump's actually trying to say right now. That was the whole big deal with when Macron tried to stop him from lying, is because Trump's
I
like,
was going to
well,
point that out. Yeah.
yeah, because he's like, well, Europe, Europe's getting paid back and we're not. And then Macron stopped him and he was like, no, that's not how this works. Like they're not paying us back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no obligation in terms of payment. Like eventually, yes, it would have to be paid back, but you're right. Macron had pretty much said like, there's no stipulations at this point. Once Ukraine gets back on its feet, gets itself kind of situated, for lack of better words, then, once they feel they're able to start paying back, then they can. And Trump really hated that. You can see it in his face, where Macron just kind of stepped over him and took control of that conversation, and it really just threw Trump through a loop, I think, in his mind, because it messed
Yeah.
with his God complex.
Because I think it's under the same it's under the same like I guess maybe they're under the same assumptions as like what happened with the UK and the US during like previous wars kind of thing, because the UK just finished like a few years back repaying the US for like monies that they were given for it, like for helping out.
Well, All I know is that when it comes to this whole mineral deal, it is pure extortion.
Yeah. So we have a new person on the panel. Jax, can I grab your age and province, please?
Hi, Ontario, and I'm
Yep.
47.
Perfect.
Hate that I had to
Have
say
you
that.
voted already? Did you do early
No,
voting, or are you going and voting today?
I'm voting today and I'm working the polls today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I'm just
Excellent.
getting ready to run
She's your
out the
twin.
door.
Okay.
Yes, I am. So I know you guys kind of skipped over to war, but if I could bring it back to like
Yeah, no
Doug
worries.
Ford and
Absolutely.
his inability to manage money and his
Yeah.
history of it. A personal experience being that I have advocated against one of Doug Ford's earlier decisions in his career. Sorry, I'm trying to catch my breath here. We all know that when Doug Ford originally ran, he did promise that he would not cut the pilot project of basic income. We also all know that the very first day he was in office, he did cut the basic income, destroying Lindsay, Ontario, and destroying families in Hamilton, Ontario, and I can't remember the third city at the moment. Just after that, he got rid of something called, which most people won't know what it is, but the Transitional Child Benefit. Now, this is a program that is run through Ontario Works. And I know people are going to be like, oh, the poor people. Why are they getting our money? But that's not what this is about. This is about children who live in poverty in Ontario. And this benefit is given to families, for example, when they have a new baby and they aren't receiving child tax benefit yet. It's only $175 a month, but it does help bridge that gap until the child tax benefit starts coming in. Now, when the child tax benefit comes in, that money that was given to the families by OW is repaid with that back pay. So this is a program that literally pays for itself. It doesn't cost our province anything, but it does take care of, unfortunately, the poorest of our children. Doug Ford cut it. He cut it. Families had to go Toronto. They went to City Hall and they begged City Hall to cover that cost. In Hamilton, families went to City Hall and begged City Hall again to cover those costs. I know because I was one of the people who spoke in Hamilton about it. And as soon as Toronto approved covering it and Hamilton approved covering it, all of a sudden Doug Ford said, oh, I'm sorry, I was joking, and reinstated the program. He flip-flops. He stands for nothing. He will take from the poorest of our poor to give to companies. And now is your opportunity today to go and vote and make a change for our province. That was it. That was all. That's just my little
I love
spiel.
it.
Sorry.
I love it. I love it. It sounded like it was very inspirational.
Yeah. Yes, I kind of am a big advocate for healthcare and for people living in poverty. It's our job to take care of everybody. And Doug Ford does not care about taking care of anybody but himself and his buddies.
Hi, Divergent. Thanks for being up here.
Yeah.
Frontline. You wanted to add?
Yeah, so I just looked up because I knew that most of it wasn't repayable, so I wanted to get some
Yeah.
actual numbers. So the military assistance part is 50 to 60%. That's not repayable. Economic assistance, in the form of, yeah, just economic assistance through direct budget support, again, non-repayable. Humanitarian aid, around 10 to 15%, that's non-repayable. It's only the loan and loan guarantees, which was only a remaining 5 to 10% of U.S. assistance. That is the only one that was quote-unquote repayable, because that was done through institutions like the World Bank. And that's it.
Gotcha.
So 90%, not repayable.
Yeah, because most of it was like in equipment and stuff like that, right? Like not.
Yeah, so military, economic, and humanitarian aid is not repayable. That's 85 to 90%. And then the repayable loans or loan guarantees are only 5 to 10% of the total assistance. So it's nothing compared to what Trump is trying to play it off as what it is.
Yeah.
My brain is
Yeah.
also not braining anymore. I've also been up just as long as you, and we need to go to
I
bed soon.
know. All right. Well, we have 20 minutes, 21 minutes left, and then Mrs. Radical's going to take over. And she's going to do some crafts with people. But anybody wants to join? If you want to talk about the election today, Ontario, you're voting. Ontario votes today. Ontario, do the right thing. Don't pull in Alberta. Okay? Don't vote them back in. I'm just saying. They're not going to do great things for you. No crafty, just breakfast. Oh, you're not going to do the beaver tails. Man. Let's get us, guys, let's get us to 30K likes. We're almost there. We are almost at 30K likes. Come on. Don't forget we have our rosas that are up there. I think we have 9 more rosas in order to hit our goal. And I'm just saying this, but I mean, if you really want to hear a really funny reaction to a gift, you can send the cowboy hat if you want. I know it's a 99-cent one, but if you have 99 coins and you want to see a really cool reaction to the cowboy hat, it's fun. It's fun. Everybody gets a kick out of it. I'm just saying I don't do a typical yeehaw. Okay? Somebody please send her a cowboy hat. It's better with the raccoon voice. I'm just saying. All right. Thank you for all the gifts, guys. Thanks for the heart me. Thanks for the rosas. Don't forget, we also do have our subscriptions if you do want to support us on a regular basis. They're cheap. They're $4.09. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! All right. It didn't even land on my face. Okay. I started doing that last year when I was doing Die Hard debates, okay? So we have our subscriptions up there. It's $4.09 a month. If you sign up for your very first month, then then it's 15% off. It just helps support our channel. It helps us keep going. We're eventually going to be looking and doing like conferences and stuff like that, and that's where the money's going to end up going. So yes, that's my reaction to it's the only one I'm gonna do on here. I won't do my tiny reaction because I just don't. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! Okay. Just saying. I should have just set my goal as that. All right. Moose, you wanted to add something else?
Yeah,
If
I
I get
just
another
wanted
one,
to
I'm gonna
add.
have to interrupt you. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. I had to, or not had to, I've been making sure that I bolster 2 resources that we have on Ontario when it comes to the election and what we're looking at. First, I know Absorb mentioned it earlier, but elections.on.ca, that's your resource for any information you need to go out and vote, where your polling stations are, what the times are, what information you need to vote, all that sort of stuff. So great resource, guys. They have an app. You can put it right on your phone, so it's at your fingertips while you're traveling to go vote. As well, for those that are looking to strategically vote, of course, there's smartvoting.ca, which gives you a breakdown of all the different districts, what kind of support is expected for each party, and you can gauge who you're going to vote for that way strategically by looking that up. So keep that in mind, guys. Smartvoting.ca, great resource made by somebody here on TikTok, JB, sorry. Fantastic work, and just keep that in mind moving forward, especially other provinces in the future. It's a
Oh, it
new,
says
it's a new
smartvoting.ca is done now. They had to stop 24 hours before.
Oh, okay. So my apologies then. I retract that one. But keep it in mind for the future, both in Ontario and Canada-wide. It's definitely a great resource I think people have been using to be able to figure out kind of their decision moving into the election. So, yeah, so I'll just post her again then, election.on.ca, which is Ontario elections website. And again, it gives you all the resources, all the information you need moving forward today on election day. And yeah, just do your best to be informed as best you can, and we'll see what the results are.
Nice. Excellent. I sent the last Rosa. You can still see the last prediction. Fantastic. Hey, do we have the latest aggregates for Ontario? Let's find out. Where's my 538? I have so many
I know
things
Ford
saved. Or
has
my
lost
not
a bit of
538,
ground,
338.
but they're still expected to get the majority of the vote. I think at this point it's just a matter of if the Conservatives get a majority or minority government.
Ontario provincial polls. This is for the provincial election, right? Yes. 26. I mean, it still has Conservatives up there. 45 plus or minus 4. Liberals is 27 plus or minus 3. NDP 18 plus or minus 2, and Green 6% plus or minus 1. So
I just always say, like, when it comes to polls and that sort of stuff going into it, take them with a grain of salt. There is movement that hopefully they will lose
yeah,
a couple seats from the Conservatives, but it might be a bigger margin than what we realized. Because I
yeah,
mean, polls can be all over the place. We've seen
could be a
that in the
closer
United
margin too.
States with their federal elections, and what we've seen with
Yeah,
our federal election. The polls have really been sketchy as of late. So
absolutely. Who's this? Observe one's back up. Yay!
Okay.
Welcome back. Welcome
I want to say,
back.
if you did not get your voter card, you can show up the poll with 2 pieces of identification. Does not need to be photo, and at least one needs to have an address. That includes your hydro bill, your bell bill, any bill with your address on it. We will accept that as a form of ID. You can still vote without your electoral card. Just like Moose said, go to elections.on.ca and put your address in and find your poll.
Excellent. Excellent. They will simply take your driver's license as well. I think driver's license as long as you have your card, right?
So, so I went to the
Yeah,
early.
1 piece for if you have your electoral card, 2 pieces if you don't. Your driver's license and birth certificate will work just fine because
Fantastic.
driver's license has an address on it.
Okay. Angela?
That's actually true because I went to the early election and I didn't have, a voter's card. People still don't have their voter's card and they're thinking that maybe they can't go out and vote, but you can go out and vote. You just need 2 pieces of ID, and that's how I did. Is I went in with 2 pieces of ID. One has to, like she said, one has to be your address, and one is just like, I don't know, your health card, driver's license, anything that identifies you.
Oh, sorry, husband just woke up. He sneezes in the
Oh.
morning. The only 2 pieces of ID we will not accept is international ID and permanent resident cards. Those are the only 2 pieces of ID we will not accept. Credit cards work.
Mm-hmm.
They have your name on them. That is a perfectly good form of piece of ID along with an address. John is right.
I also went in with,
Cards if it has your name.
that's true. I also went in with a hat that said ABC. You think anybody noticed? I
Look,
did.
an anonymous account actually came in here. Sorry, I had to say it because somebody was accusing Frontline of being anonymous earlier. Now we actually have anonymous in here. Okay. Sorry, Angela, continue.
Oh, sorry. When I went in there, right, I also went with a hat that said ABC.
love
And were
it.
you asked to take it off?
No, it's
I'm
perfectly
shocked. Legally, we have to ask
Yeah,
you to
you're
take
not
it
supposed
off.
to go with you're not supposed to go with political
Yep.
paraphernalia.
Do not show up with political nothing. Do not have PCs, liberals, NUP. I will have to ask you to remove it
No, that doesn't.
or
That
remove
does not
yourself from the poll.
yeah, that does not indicate that at all. Actually, it doesn't indicate a name of a
Gotcha.
party.
Yeah, but if anybody saw it, they could question you for sure, and they'd be like, yeah, because like if a lot of people know what ABC means, right? Anything but conservative. So, what about colors?
Colors are fun.
Yeah, I think it was just like solid color, like you're fine as long as there's no indicator. Like I was I was a scrutineer for the provincial election in Alberta before, and we had like when we were going door knocking and stuff like that, I had my pin for like the person that like the party and the person. But when I went into the election stations, I had to take that off. I was not allowed to have anything like that on. So even just work like obviously even working it and stuff like that. ABC is a TikTok thing. I'm sure many poll workers don't know, but yeah, but it's always been a thing for like Canadian elections, anything but conservative. And if you're in Edmonton, it's anything but Calgary. So ABC, you vote for yourself. Aw, fantastic. So you spoil your ballot.
Awesome. It's more work for the poll
Yeah.
worker, by the way. When you spoil your ballot, it is more work for the poll workers.
Yep.
Just don't vote then.
I
It's
mean,
already enough
technically
they have to do in a day. They're allowed to.
yeah, they're exercising their right to vote. They just don't like any of the candidates that are there, so they still are voting. Just it's a protest vote, right? So
yeah, they're
I
allowed
get it.
to.
You're not voting for a failed system you don't believe in that screws you over. How does it screw you over? Come up and talk. Unique Leather by Brian. I'm assuming you're Brian. I'm assuming you're not the Unique
Well,
Leather.
he works for himself. He told me earlier. When I informed him
Oh.
that his employee has to give him 3 hours paid time off if he needs that much time to go back to his home poll, because again, you must vote at your home poll. You cannot vote at any poll today. That was for advance voting and only advance voting.
And you have to give them 3 hours off. If you don't,
yes, paid time off.
1, you are a terrible boss.
Right?
2, 2, I'm pretty sure there are consequences you can have for that.
Yeah, there is. I know. I'm putting on my boots now.
Starlighting. Marching my family to the voting office today. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I love it. I love it. I spoil my ballot more than once, only because I'm in a guaranteed PC riding. I understand that. I still vote for a party. I'm always federally my riding is always blue. Always. So
okay, I have to run. I actually have to work now. Get to the polls, guys. Vote.
Have fun.
Oh yeah, it'll be a joy. Enjoy, guys.
All right. Okay. Hi, Yak. Yep. Go and vote. Everybody go vote. See this right here? Right here. Vote. Vote. Everybody that's in here. We have 8 minutes left with me. 8 minutes left with me. Let's get some. We have 55 people in here. 8 minutes left with me. Let's do some power. Let's do more power tapping. Let's get us to at least 35K. At least 35K, guys. We're at 148 ink shares. Can we, let's see, can I see 150? Can I see 150 in shares? 150 in shares. 150, 150, 150 in shares. Share it out to the ether if you don't have any friends to share it to. 150. Can I see 150? 150. 150. I'm not seeing anything moving. 150, 152. 152. We have 152. Can I see 160? Oh, look at that. We're at 160. 175. 175. 175. Let's see 175 in the shares. 175 in the shares. Oh, 175. We're at 177. Let's see 190. 190 in the shares. 190. 190. 190. 190. We're at. Let's see 200. We're almost there. 200. 200. 200. We have going once. Going 200. Sold. Imagine that with a raccoon voice. It's so funny. All right, who just dropped? Taltech just dropped. Thank you, Taltech, for being here. In a few minutes, like about 5 minutes, I am going to be ending this, and we are going to be getting Mrs. Radical up here. Oh, that's okay. You can come back up. Yeah, absolutely. Come back up. Come have a talk with us. Do you have anything to add to the conversation?
Not right now, sorry. You can drop me down if you want to put somebody else on.
No, you're good. I still have 2 more boxes available up here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Just vote, because otherwise you'll end up with conservatives like we do here in Nova Scotia. Which sucks.
Or Alberta.
Yeah.
Trash Berta. Yes. All right. Well, we're almost at 35K, guys. We're almost at 35K. We surpassed the 200 shares. Fantastic. I love it. I love it. We finished off the Rosas. And Ontario, go vote. Yes, Ontario, go vote. What else? What else? What does we talk? We talked about AB today. Oh, by the way, I'm British. Okay. Fantastic. Is your name V for Vendetta? Timing of election was purposeful for low border count. Yeah, I agree. It happens like that a lot of the time. There's this thing, it's called voter suppression, and they find these tiny little things like this in order to suppress voting. 100%. Why do you think the US has their elections in November? You're not named V for Vendetta. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, a girl can dream. Oh my god. I need sleep. Why is this not showing any? My screen over here is not showing any comments. Like, can everybody else see comments? I can't see comments on my other account.
Yeah, it's working on my phone. I can see everything coming in.
So weird. Okay, there we go. Okay, I see comments now. I left and came back. Your polling place is an industrial area so far away. That's wild. That's wild. You know where my polling areas always are? The church down the street. And I'm afraid I'm going to burst into flames when I go in there. Well, we talked about religion earlier today, too. Mostly on Frontlines Live. We did some religion because we were having the AB talk, too. And for those who didn't see, hang on, let me get a good shot of it. For those who didn't see, this is my shirt I am wearing today. Against abortion, have a vasectomy. Yeah. Yeah. I figured it went really well with, I was predicting that conversation was going to happen. I don't know. It's one of my many political shirts. I love it. My human rights shirts. All right. Well, we're getting ready to gear down. I did put a new goal up there. It's two of like this little lipstick thing, or I don't know what it is. It's like a stamp. I don't know. But if you want to do those, you're totally welcome to. It just helps support the channel again, like I said. Plus this one does like a little thing where it like stamps me or something. I don't know. I don't do anything fun with it though, aside from make faces like, oh my god, thank you so much. You had one of those because you got tired of the amount of, I'm so confused. What are you talking about? Oh, vasectomy. Oh, okay. I was like, you had an abortion? What? Why not have women tie their tubes? Fantastic question. Very invasive. Do you know that a vasectomy is very not invasive and also reversible?
Yeah,
There's your
vasectomies
answer.
are absolutely a hell of a lot less invasive and easier to reverse, like you said, and just overall medically,
Yep.
so much easier for a male to get a vasectomy than a woman to get her tubes tied.
Think about, and this is going to be a weird comparison, but just think about this, okay? When you take cats to go get fixed, for male cats, it's way less because they don't have to do as much to actually do the surgery, okay? Literally, it's like slice and they like, I've seen it done on TikTok videos, okay? It's like a slice and then they like cut and then take it out and then they sew it back up. That's it. Like, it's so less invasive. With female cats, you have to like literally like get in there to get like to get them fixed. And same thing with us. Like, you have to, it's very invasive. Even if it's done, even if you were going to do it laparoscopically, that's still invasive. It's so much recovery time when you do things like that. My salty pork. I think not. I don't trust your profile, and you only have 4 followers. And I'm ending right away. So, all right. I'm gonna end so Mrs. Radical can start right at 6 o'clock. Be right back. Come back. Oh, great. Gotta judge my username. It's not just your username. Not just your username. But if you want, maybe Mrs. Radical will let you up. Okay, I'm gonna end. I will see you guys later on tonight when all of us are gonna be back on the panel from 6 o'clock onwards. How to add host. Me? Oh, my account is in the comments. Hang on one second. Here. So I typed here. That's my account down in the comments. If you want to follow me, me personally, it's right there. I host lives every once in a while. I'm mostly up on panels for other people. And I have a trivia account that I follow on a completely different account. So, but I post videos about that everywhere once in a while too. But anyway, I'm going to say goodbye and good night. Thank you for all the likes, the shares. Oh, not good night. It's good morning for everybody. It's good night for me and Frontline because we're tired and we want to go to bed. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm super tired. So I'm like really bouncing off the walls right now with the caffeine that I have in me. And yeah. So, okay, I'm going to go. Mrs. Radical is going to be next. Thank you for everything, guys. And Ontario, go vote.